And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Session 2 of Land Beyond the Mist. I am very excited to go exploring once again. Here with me this evening, we have Hephaestus, Cold Like Bryce, Mala Rin, I believe, and Jamie K from the Discord. And we are going to explore the old manor out into the Howling Fields. Before we get going, you have all gathered in the Cloak and Stagger Inn around the table as is customary. Why don't we go around the table and have all of you introduce yourselves if you'd like and your characters, and we'll get to know who is playing with us today. I'm just going to go in order that I went, so let's start with Hephaestus. Why don't you introduce your character and what's going on?
Sure thing. So Alexi is a elf in brown robes next to a stack of books, furiously flipping through them, looking for notes. He's relatively old by his wrinkles and his gray hair. And he walks around with a quarterstaff. Clearly a wizard with his metallic orb of power, quote unquote, which he uses to cast spells.
Very cool, very cool. What has brought Alexi to the Cloak and Stagger here today? I mean, other than exploring this old manor, but what brought you to Farfield Keep?
Of course, Alexi is in Farfield Keep because he is he's thirsty for secrets. In the mainland and the main civilization, everything is known and uncovered. And at the mark of his 200th year in the world, he said, "I will set off to the unknown."
Ooh, very nice. Oh, you have come to the right place to discover secrets. Sounds like a good time. All right, let's go to Cold Like Bryce. Who are you playing today?
Hi, I'm Bryce. I'm playing Arlo, a young 21-year-old half-elf. Cleric of Life. He's grown up in the Barfield Keep Church Temple. And after everyone's been coming around to the land beyond the mist, he's really taken upon himself to make sure that, all the adventuring parties that go out there, at least the ones that he can participate in, just stay safe. Everyone on each side, reduce casualties as much as he can. For his appearance, think like himbo, but something functioning behind the eyes, at least. So, tall dude, 6'6", and just happy to be here.
I like it. The Himbo Cleric, a tried and true desert. So I want to know then, since you are so interested in keeping casualties low, how do you feel about the last party that set out and came back minus 25% of itself? How did that affect you?
It's sad to hear. I mean, it's any time that people just, bright-eyed go out into the lands and, they never feel like they're going to go out and just, die or anything like that. They always expect to come back. And so for something like that to happen so recently really affects him. And he's been anxious about this and really wants to make sure that that doesn't happen with his party at least.
All right. Well, sounds like you've got your work cut out for you. Mala, why don't you share with us who you've brought to the table today?
Good to go. So I'm bringing Charizard. She is a warlock coming from a desert land, recently exiled because of some heresy she has performed. The heresy, of course, being I know something that is not sanctioned by the church. Out.
Okay.
And since that, she's just been traveling along. She heard that there's a new campaign over the Mist Mountains and forbidden knowledge, magic. I'm not really wanted anywhere else anyway, so hey, let's go.
Very exciting. All right. Well, I won't ask you exactly what got you kicked out of the church. Wouldn't want any prying eyes or ears to hear. But what is the nature of your studies that led you to forbidden knowledge in the first place? How did you get there?
Oh, dang. It's been a while since... If you don't want me to spoil anything...
Oh, you don't have to. Keep your secrets if you must.
There's a lot of astronomy going on, and the question of whether or not we were the first civilizations.
Oh.
And the answer is no. But also that's heresy.
Heretical indeed. Very interesting. Okay. Well, perhaps you will find more interesting heresies out in the land beyond the mist. That'll be exciting. That leads us to Jamie. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you've brought to the table today?
Yes, today I'm playing Arthur the Golden Scaled Dragonborn. He is a paladin, and he worships Pelor, the god of the sun and of hope and such. Well, he's come out here to the lands beyond the mist because he feels like the church that he comes from, he made a great impact on his life at an early age, and so he wants to help bring some of that light that he received into his light and out into these wild places where they might not have an abundance of hope or good lifestyles. And so if he can set up here somewhere, make a name for himself as perhaps do some preaching eventually, but also keep the people safe. Make sure this land gets developed.
Oh, okay. You're interested in developing the lands. Are you deterred at all by the fact that under the prior good king that the settlements came out into the lands and have all mostly failed? There hasn't been a lot of successful campaigns out beyond the mist.
It's definitely worrying. Of course, it's a long-term plan. See what did go wrong. See if it's solvable. Meet some people along the way, and even if we can just make a couple of first steps, then he'll have set the way to something greater.
All right. Well, I will bring us over to the table in front of you as you sit in the Cloak and Stagger. There is, of course, this large public table in the center of the room with a small map kind of scratched away at the surface of it, showing you where you want to go. You have all determined that you are going to the old manor, and you want to investigate there. What preparations do the four of you want to make before heading out?
We generally just want to ask around, see possibly who even first scratched the old manor into the table if we can.
Okay.
Ask about directions and general knowledge about it, and then maybe even get some salt in case there's something haunted in the place.
Get some salt, absolutely. Sure, you begin asking around just the local tavern, trying to see who scratched a table in here. Is the proprietor of the Cloak and Stagger, woman in her middle age, ex-adventurer, the hard lines of a hard life etched deep into her face, her hair gray and pulled back into a tight bun behind her. Eventually catches word of you asking around, and will come over and say, the table there, it's been scratched and drawn on by so many adventurers over the years. No one's quite sure who put most of the large landmarks there. This is handed down to me from the previous owner, who had it handed down to him as well. We like to keep it here because it's a nice little hub for adventurers to come in and, spend some coin on drinks and discuss it. I will say, the last group I heard talking about the old manor and venturing out never made it back. The four of them just disappeared, another casualty of the Howling Fields.
Is there many people around who know about the history of this place? What happened to these old places out there that have become to ruin?
No, not a great deal. Most of the ruins out there that I know of have been there as long as anyone can remember. The first expeditions found all kinds of strange places in the wilds. I believe there was a map somewhere. Oh, maybe old Flint might have it, showing you where expeditions from south came and failed, but largely when they failed, the resources were packed up and brought either here or back home. Not many ruins from the, most recent 30, 40 years out there.
Yes, it does seem odd somebody would bring about a manor house out there in the wilds where it could be, and assumedly was, overrun by some creature or other. But I suppose if there's no sages around who have studied that, then we won't find much about it. So he's looking around at his companions.
Okay, well, I feel your eyes on me then. It's like, assuming that there's probably a lot of history in this area before, your backward civilization took over the mountains. I imagine we can find plenty of information if we do go to the manor house.
With a stares at you a little bit, uncertain how to take that comment, and decides better of saying anything, and just kind of walks off, polishing a glass.
You may have offended her. Do you often come to towns out on the edge of civilization and call them backwards just because they're overrun by dangers?
Yes.
Oh. Well, perhaps it's best we get you out of town soon then. Off doing some good in the world might improve your attitude somewhat.
Look, Arthur, some folks just can't face the truth. If no one knows about the manor, perhaps we should uncover it ourselves.
Look, they don't even have running water. I just watched a boy bring a pail of it in from who knows where.
You see a boy struggling through the tavern with a bucket about as big as he is, sloshing back and forth.
Oh, here, chap. Let me help you.
I'll get up and help him with that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
It's quite heavy.
Yeah, you shouldn't be having to do that on your own. Let me help.
All right.
Well,
So you've gathered information about the manor from Witha and asking around. Are there any other preparations you'd like to make before heading out? You wanted to buy some salt?
Do we? Yeah.
Salt is purchasable. There's a large marketplace in the kind of center of Farfield Keep. Open air, both stalls and other things, and goods are brought in both from the King's Road leading south into the mountains and from the outlying towns and hamlets that provide the farming and food and whatever else outside of Farfield Keep. And you can, sure enough, find a spice trader amongst amongst the stalls there. That's the word I was looking for. And let me see if they have salt just available in the DMG. And if not, I will name my own price. The trade goods list 5 copper pieces for 1 pound of salt. So the traders in the market will sell you salt at that price.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll get that.
Okay. Just a pound of salt for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll work.
Perfect.
I'll make sure to retrieve Theo on the way out of the tavern. It's my mule. Alfred carries a lot of stuff around with him, so would be encumbered without good old Theo here.
Good old Theo the mule. All right, you grab Theo the mule, and you have purchased salt and gathered some information. Does that do it for any preparations?
Well, I think
Yeah, I bought some stuff before the session began.
Sure. And on your character sheet, I'm sure, and tracked.
Yes.
Okay. Hephaestus, you were saying something?
Yeah, also just directions, like how to get there and what we might see along the way.
So you talk about how to get there. No one's 100% sure, although you get the feeling that it is to the north and left is west. I'm not going to pull a Neil here. The northwest, and it lies some few miles between the border of the Lizard Marsh to the west and to the Howling Fields themselves. It is in the Howling Fields proper, but it is close to the border of the Lizard Marsh, and at least 2 days worth of travel. No one who goes regularly into the Howling Fields sees the old manor in a single day's march.
Is it grasslands all the way over? or what's the terrain like?
Yeah, so the first few miles around Farfield Keep are fairly pleasant pasture land. You'll see hamlets and villages and lots of farms and farmland kind of encircling it for probably about 12 or 18 miles. Everyone's very familiar with it. The guards from the King's Road and the conscription kind of service in Farfield Keep have agreed to keep that area fairly safe. As you get farther than 18 miles out, it kind of changes. To the north, there is the Howling Fields. This is known as a large grassland with huge swaths of like kind of wild grasses that grow thick and full and tall, and then like kind of smaller grasslands that are grazed upon and, you know, are fairly flat. To the east are the Gold Hills. They are known for their large, varying hills, some of them gentle slopes, some of them more ravines and gulches, leading off into some mountains into the east. And the Lizard Marsh itself is a very swamp-like land to the west, full of overgrown ferns and kind of swampy wetlands and occasional trees dripping and hanging down with their roots exposed. The Howling Fields are well known for their wolf population, especially at dusk and evening. You get lots of recommendations from seasoned adventurers to have found some place to spend the night by the time the moon comes up. Because the most dangerous parts of Howling Fields hunt at night.
Makes sense. So I suppose if we find ourselves in the marshes or in the tall grasses, we've gone too far, or we're lost at that point.
I suppose if we were to skirt the edge of the marsh, we would find our way at least to the vicinity pretty well. If everyone's ready to go, I say we make a good start of it.
Well,
all right.
Is that the most sticking we can do? I mean, even if we don't know anyone I haven't talked to anyone who knows about the manor, maybe they know someone who may know more about the manor. I mean, is there anyone in town that, like...
Go ahead. I think that you were looking for more information than is just publicly widely available. I'm going to ask for a check. How is it that you dig up this person in town? Are you just asking around, just to force of personality? How are you finding this extra information?
I think Arlo, before talking to anyone, would actually, as he's a bit of a book nerd, he would actually look to see like the books that he's read and around town, try to find anything like
trying to find the history in a book. This sounds like an investigation challenge to me. So if you are skilled in investigation, I think that would apply your proficiency. This seems also like an intelligence check, perhaps, reading and investigating, or do you think a different attribute applies?
A history check, maybe? Or it's probably more looking for the book than it is. I don't know.
Okay, I would accept history. If you were skilled in history, this probably would help with the check as well. So I will call for an intelligence check with proficiency if you are skilled in either history or investigation.
Okay.
Alrighty. You have rolled a 21. You are quite successful, actually, in digging around in an old library in the temple. There's a local temple, just kind of generalist to all kind of faiths that may come from the lands to the south, and they keep a library of texts and tomes and writs from the people that have come through town, and you have found the text of an old adventurer that claims to have made it to the old manor. The text itself claims that the manor was found at dusk on the second day, riding due northwest from Farfield Keep. That the way was fraught with difficulty, describing the harrowing fights multiple times with large beasts that walked on four legs and stalked them through the night. Upon arriving to the manor itself, he found it to be dilapidated, but says that the inside of it seemed relatively untouched by time compared to the crumbling ruins of the outside. And he describes being unable to rest and take shelter from the beasts that haunted him or stalked him through the Howling Fields. They were driven out of the manor by an unnamed creature.
That sounds promising.
What's the dating on the book? Is it recent, or is there even a date?
It's kind of written as a journal of this adventurer's life. And you would place this to be about 20 years past.
I doubt the person who wrote it is still around. At least around town, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a name?
There is, and this person is named Thatcher. It is a halfling adventurer named Thatcher.
Okay. Maybe we can, if we're all ready, then we can ask the bartender about Thatcher in case they know, and if they don't, we head out.
Yes.
Sure. You ask Witha about Thatcher, and she thinks for a moment and says, "You know, I can't keep track of everyone that comes through the bar, but a halfling adventurer that went out to the old manor? No, I can't remember anyone by that name. It doesn't ring a bell."
Well, thanks for your help, at least. We're about to go out there, so if you wish us luck.
Of course. I wish everyone good luck and great fortune so that they can come back and spend it on me.
Thank you. We will.
Good luck. All right.
Oh,
So, the four of you are ready to set out. So, you gather your supplies. You have gathered the information that you can, and you are heading due northwest. So, I want one of you to act as a navigator. It could be any of you, and it can change between roles. But let's, for the time being, who's going to act as the navigator of the party?
I can take it first, I think.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. Arlo, you will navigate for us. So go ahead and declare for me a route that you are taking, and the pace at which you will go forth on this adventure. You can go at a slow pace, a medium pace, or a fast pace. So will affect how many hexes that you travel across my key and the difficulty of foraging as per the handouts and rules in the Discord.
I think just northwest, travel that way. More
Okay.
west than north.
Okay.
And travel at a slow pace.
Alrighty then. Excellent. So the four of you set off with the mule in tow, traveling along. With the mule, are any of you encumbered or heavily encumbered?
Am I allowed to put stuff on your mule?
Oh, yes. Do please go ahead. We are cooperating after all.
The mule now has my entire backpack.
Ah, yes. Good. That's where I leave mine as well.
Excellent. All right. Please
Actually,
make...
while I'm at it, I'm gonna pass everyone a signal whistle.
Okay.
Just one per person, because just in case everything goes bad for me.
All right.
Ah, sure.
Everyone gets a single whistle. And you
I'm not sure my jaw is good for this. I have quite an unusually shaped mouth, I've been told. I will try to
Put it in your
blow a
nose.
whistle with my dragonborn jaws.
With your dragonborn jaws. I think that it is probably challenging for you as a dragonborn to use the whistle. However, you can make the whistle function. A high-pitched screech echoes across the land there.
Comes out a little scorched. The whistle. Yes, this should do. Thank you very much.
A little bit of smoke curls out of the top of the whistle. Very nice.
Tuck it into a pouch.
All right. Excellent. So you are navigating northwest at a slow pace for the day. Go ahead and navigator, roll me a wisdom survival check for your navigation for the day.
Oh my god.
Excellent. You are navigating like an absolute champion. All right. I want each of you to roll me a d6 for encounters as we go. And tell me what it's like as you set off along your path here today. You are leaving Farfield Keep probably for the first time and traveling through this nice gentle plains at first with farms and small dirt roads and hamlets on either side. A few travelers pass for the first 6 to 12 miles, and then as you get further out, the kind of bustle and hustle of town leaves you behind, and just the four of you on the road traveling. What is that like?
I think for me, it's just a lot of lost in thought. Arlo is really amazed and just kind of bewildered at all this openness outside of the keep, and something out of the ordinary for him, for sure.
Charizard being... Oh, so go on.
Sure. Definitely to start with, Arthur is trying to engage with all of the passers-by, and if we go through a village, he tries to greet the villagers and see what they're doing out here and what all the travelers are doing, and where they've been visiting, and if they've seen anything interesting happening, and what sort of creatures are around, what there is to hunt, just generally trying to...
And you have lots of great conversations with people. They're very happy to send adventurers on their way out there. It's kind of assumed that the adventurers kill monsters and dangers that keep the townsfolk safe. So you get lots of well wishes, and they'll happily chat about game and whatnot, but they're not really very sure what lies beyond their little hamlets and hometowns. You get talks of wild game and rabbits and a few deer, but no real information beyond that.
Mostly just being friendly, yeah.
All right. So it comes to about evening. You have traveled about the whole day's worth of travel. You begin to see the gentle kind of pastures slip away. You begin, as you head northwest, to see these like long wild grasses appear in kind of big clusters around you, like a small like sea of about chest-high grass, and then it'll disappear into kind of flatter, more well-grazed grasses. There's a gentle roll to the land, but the land itself is flat, enough that a cart wouldn't really have a problem with it. You just notice it yourself as you walk across it. I want all of you to make me a perception check as you walk into a kind of flat pasture land as the sun dips down kind of low into the night. Ooh, excellent.
Some nice rolls.
Jinxed it. Why would you say that to me?
I'm sorry.
All right, one more here. Oh, very nice. So everyone except for Sherazad is taken is alerted by the sounds of like clinking metal on metal. It sounds almost like coins in a purse. And you begin looking around for it, and the three of you spot some 60 feet off to the west, heading away from your line of travel, but definitely within sight. And as the kind of sun sets, you see a number of creatures, probably more than 10, but it's hard to make out their exact number. And they're carrying a large square thing with poles, almost like it would be something for a leader to ride. But on top of this flat kind of perch, instead of another creature, there's glinting of light, the sunlight reflecting off metal as they bounce along, walking away to the west. And you just hear this as they go. What do you all do?
Well, obviously I don't see anything. I'm just still reading.
Do we see what these? They're humanoids. Do they have
They're
can we see
small.
anything
Yeah,
of them?
you look at them. They're small and definitely vaguely humanoid. They walk on two legs. They have arms that are carrying this thing. The creatures are not exactly human sized. You think that they strike you as more halfling sized, but they're leaner on the whole. And they definitely have features that, while they look human, are very clearly in addition to human. The way their body is formed gives you the distinct impression that they're not exactly human, that there's something more to their shape.
Do we want to talk to them? Maybe they're nice.
Well, I say, those are some tiny people, and they seem to be carrying some treasure. How intriguing!
What? Wait, what? What are you talking about? What? Oh.
Yes.
Over there. Do you see?
But, no, I'm not an elf. I can't see that shit.
There.
Well, I'm convinced. Let's investigate.
Well,
I do speak many languages of many short people, so.
I suppose we could go say hello.
Yeah.
All right. You begin walking towards the creatures. They are some 60 feet away when you stopped short, and they have continued walking, although they seem to be going at a pretty slow pace compared to you. You can catch up to them fairly quickly, and as you get closer,
I wouldn't want to get too close, to surprise them. Probably to 40-ish feet, I'd start to just call out instead of...
Okay. You start calling out as you begin closing with them. And as you do so, you see all of these creatures stop. And they set the thing down with a mighty clangling and jangling. And they spin around, looking wildly. You can now tell that there are 12 creatures that are most definitely of the goblin variety. And they are quite surprised to hear you shouting out. What do you say to them?
Well, I started in comment, and I was like, "Oh yes, hello there, travelers. How is it today?" But then, I turn around and I switch to goblin, and I say, "Oh, don't not worry there. I didn't mean to quite give you a fright. Just an interesting sight."
He speaks our language. Big one!
Oh, yeah,
What do you want?
The goblin and say, "Hi! Hello, friends!"
This is unexpected. There are many big ones.
What? We were just wondering what it is you're carrying there, and why.
Treasure. Because treasure. It goes to boss.
Yes.
Boss wants treasure. We give him treasure. You not take treasure.
Oh no. I wouldn't steal from such upstanding citizens as yourself. Where did you find it?
Out there. He just points directly behind you.
I'll immediately whip.
Yeah, I'll turn around and look off in that direction.
You see the nice grassland as the sun is setting behind you. We dig it up. Boss told us where to dig. We dig. Smart.
Very.
Nice.
Is Boss smart too? Is he big? Bigger than you?
No.
Okay.
I'm big.
You are. You're very big.
Do you know about the town?
What is town?
There's a keep. It's called Farfield Keep.
Oh. Has treasure?
No, not really. I don't think very much
Worthless.
goes on in there.
Has food.
And it's got like walls. You probably wouldn't want to. And people would stab you to death. It
Not
probably.
good. Scary people.
Note this down. Note this down. City. Where's city?
Well, actually, I was just mentioning it because there's this nice table in the city that has like a map around here, and I was wondering if you came from the swamp. It's on the table, you see, and thought
No,
maybe we could be
we
friends.
come from home. Why do you care about table? Table boring. Is it gold? It's gold. It's shiny. Gold table in city. We must tell boss. We get good information. Big ones.
Wait a second, guys. Is that right? Is the table made of gold? I didn't see that.
I think it is. It looked
I don't
pretty.
even know what's being said over here. What's going on? What are you saying to these little people? Why are they so
I think we
excitable?
need to take big ones captive. Are you
Oh,
ready?
they're taking the. Hey, what do you mean take us captive?
You have much information for boss. This one looks
Well,
tasty
we
too.
dumb.
I thought we could cooperate, but if you're going to be aggressive, then I'm afraid we will have to defend ourselves.
You could
Or
come.
take our leave. We just leave. We leave now.
Yes, you go take your treasures back off to the... You don't live in the swamp, but that's to the west. How does that make any sense? Where are you going to the west, if not to the swamp?
We go home. You know home.
your
You
home-
speak us. You would know.
Speaking
No, they
of
don't
our
know.
town,
They don't know.
it's
The big
all-
ones know our language, but they don't know us. I think we need to take them captive. Boss needs to know
No,
of
no,
this.
no.
Can you ask them where they
town
live?
captive. Town is to west. You go west, you find town. You find big shiny table of gold.
Gold table is good. What do you
Gold.
think? I don't know. I think they're telling the truth. I think we should go to the gold table. I do too. But what do we do with this? We can't give to them. They're fishy. Big one's fishy.
Bury it. It was buried before you bury again.
Hide the treasure. Turn around.
Does, Oh, yes. What, you're just gonna bury it here?
No.
Alright, I'll just turn around. Yes, alright, I'll turn around.
Right now, smart place to bury. You
Yes.
bury it now, no one find it.
Okay, good. Turn around. No looking. No peek.
what
And you hear the sounds of shovels like shh, shh. This takes about 15 or 20 minutes of like non-stop shoveling, but as long as no one turns around, eventually the shoveling sounds stop, and then the creatures are like, okay, big ones, we go find gold table now.
Can we turn around?
Yes. No. No.
Oh,
No.
I stopped turning around.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't understand anything. I don't hear. No, I just turn around. Like nobody here is translating to me. I'm just nodding along. No, I don't know what's going on anymore.
They look at you and then they scratch their heads like, hey, it's fine. They can turn around. Gold's gone now. Okay. We're going to get gold table. You want to come pillage city with us?
Later. We meet you at city.
Big ones are cowards. It's okay. Come, let us pillage city. It was west,
West.
past home.
Yes. Yes, it passed home.
Good. We pillage city, and all the goblins go, yeah! And then they just begin marching off, leaving you standing there as they're determined to go get the golden table back at town.
Arthur looks substantially confused.
What just
Can we get
happened?
it?
Well, should we start digging?
Maybe give it like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wait,
back.
You're gonna steal their gold? I guess they weren't very nice.
They're gonna steal our table that happens to be west where there is no table.
Yeah,
Are paladins allowed to lie?
I didn't lie. What do you mean?
I lie.
Are clerics? Whatever.
We can
Does anybody have a shovel?
They're gonna take our theoretical table that's west and not east.
They could have just used this gold to trade. I'm not sure why they want to pillage so much.
There's enough gold for a table here.
I suppose Probably. What did they do with their litter?
Do you mean the Howler?
Yeah, or whatever word it was. It's.
I look at the dirt mound, which is I imagine like Howler plus chest shaped. Like
Yes,
there.
there's a very obvious mound of dirt that has been tamped down, but there is a very clear area that's about the shape of that thing they were carrying on their backs. That is dug out and then refilled, apparently. Just, right where they were.
Yeah, let's get digging, and I'll start digging through this.
Wait. But books.
We get books later. Books are at Manor, we're not at Manor yet.
Yeah, the manor's not going anywhere.
The Manor's not going anywhere.
The gold's not going in. We're not coming back for this shit.
Maybe.
I'm cursing too much. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I don't care.
All right. Well, I'm not digging. Okay. You're not gonna make a lady dig. So
I'm already digging.
like,
All right.
lizard boy, get for it.
Do you have a... Lizard boy. Do you have a shovel or some kind of digging implement?
Nope.
No, you're just going at it with your hands.
Yep.
All right. Well, the goblins that buried it did in fact have shovels on them, and this is buried kind of deep. It's gonna take you some amount of time to dig through it with just your hands. Are you
it's
all willing
more
to sit
efficient.
and wait for this to happen?
If it's more efficient, I'll try using my shield as well to, kind of shovel things out.
I mean, it is better. It's still not great,
Yeah.
but it will be better than your hands. Yes.
I've got a mage hand to serve as a third hand to dig with my hands.
The mage hand can only carry like a pound, right? This is taking just like a little bit of dirt out, floating it past. I like it. Okay. Well, you begin digging, and this took a good amount of time for 12 goblins and equipped with shovels to make it happen. And you were just using your hands. So, what are the rest of you who aren't digging doing while this is happening?
Well, obviously, I'm keeping watch my feet perception.
Very nice.
Actually, I'm probably gonna like take out one of my books. I'm just gonna start scribbling out like how far we've gone, and the fact that like there's a treasure here under like whatever landmarks I can see. For the case that we end up not actually digging up this treasure because we don't have shovels and I'm not helping.
Okay.
Yeah, Arthur's probably also not helping. He's a little confused about the situation. So he'll just sort of make sure nobody else is around here. Those last natives weren't very friendly, and so we wouldn't want more of them to sneak up on us.
So you wait as the mage hand and Arlo just digging and digging and digging. Time passes. It takes, by my roll, 20 minutes to dig it all up. And about the time that you are getting to the bottom of this dig, you're beginning to dig up loose coins in the dirt. There's just a pile of gold and silver and copper that's just like basically had dirt dumped on top of it. You're beginning to pull this out. And the two of you up top see movement on the horizon. As 20 minutes have gone by, the sun has begun dipping quite noticeably, and it is turning from like evening into like early dusk. The sun is beginning to slip down. It is getting darker out, and you see like amongst the grass like movement coming towards you, and it seems at first like nothing, but then you watch it a little bit longer, and the two of you have been kind of keeping an eye out between doing other things. Realize that there are shapes coming towards you, and very importantly, like zeroing in on your position.
Yeah, so is it to the north or?
Yes, coming from the north.
I like shading my eyes a little to peer at the question. I like, say, didn't that nice bard lady say something about getting shelter when we were out near the Howling Fields? Do you think this is the Howling Fields?
Well, why don't you try howling and seeing?
I'm not very good at howling. I could do a roar.
I have a question. I'm gonna hand you a flask of oils. Like, how far can you throw this?
I would wager about 60 feet, but not very accurately.
Maybe for now we should quickly scoop up any like loose dirt, just push it on whatever we can, and then immediately like rush off to the side and just hopefully they pass.
Okay, you
we
pile
should try
dirt.
that.
You pile dirt onto the like hole you've been digging for 20 minutes, just trying to conceal your efforts a little bit, and you stand up and rush away from it. As you do that, the shapes break into a sprint. It seems that four like strange wolf-like creatures, much larger than your average dog or wolf that you've seen from the south, have been slowly stalking up on you. And as you made a sudden move to run, they have become breaking into a full sprint, like charging at you. The lead one unleashes a up into the night's or the evening's dusk sky as they become charging at you. I think that is enough to roll us into initiative. Let's go ahead and pop that up. I'm going to bring you guys over to this little battle map for the Howling Fields. And we will add Alexi.
Are we placing tokens anywhere in particular?
You can place them right in the middle if you would like, and then put yourselves how you would like. And there will be wolves coming from the north that I will get to. And Arthur.
I can't resize myself. Could you make me one square?
You should be able to resize yourself, yeah?
No, only DMs are allowed to. We're all just a little too big for some reason.
Okay. You have been resized. Alrighty, so Arthur has rolled a 17. He's on the block. Shahrazad an 8. You are on. Oh, I guess I can dump this Arthur. Alexi has rolled a 20, it looks like.
Sorry, I need to roll.
No, you need to roll. Okay, cool. Arlo has rolled 4 on his initiative. And we will bring forth some wolves.
Some big wolves, huh?
They are large-sized wolves breaking from the grasses as they come towards you, rushing at you now. Excellent. Let us roll them an initiative. Hephaestus has rolled a 24 for Alexi. Very nice. And the wargs go at 12. All right. Let's put this in descending order. And we will go to the battle map. Boom. All right. So, Alexi, you are the first to act as these wolves come busting out of the grasslands, charging towards you. What do you do to react?
I guess as a question, first of all, are they as close together as they seem on the map?
Yes.
Okay, in that case, Alexi will begin to chant a spell.
Ooh, very nice.
Intending to put the wolves to sleep.
Oh, all right. You cast the sleep spell. I believe that they have a right to a saving throw. Wisdom? Or is it
they just
con?
go to sleep in ascending number of hit points.
Ah,
There's
no saving throws, huh?
Just as long as they have little enough HP to
Spell sends people into magical sleep. Roll 5d8. Totals and how many hit points are affected. All right, 29 hit points of creatures. Very good. Well, the first creature here in the middle goes to sleep. They are nice and tired and fall asleep mid-charge, running at you. They just start skidding, and a nice snore escaping their lips. I don't see a good sleep thing here. I'm gonna make them red then. They're red, they're sleepy. And you had 29 total hit points. The other two, unfortunately, are unaffected and continue their charge. Anything else you do on your turn, Alexi?
I'm also going to move back 30 feet away from them.
Okay, absolutely. All right. That brings us to Arthur. You are the next to move as these wolves charge you. One has fallen asleep and skidded to a stop. What do you do?
Yeah, that one's nice and asleep. So he was getting out his warhammer to meet the charge of that one, but it falls asleep in front of him. So he'll instead run off to the side and swing it into the face of this creature.
Ooh, very nice. All right, you charge up and make an attack. The 22 from your Warhammer will hit. You just cram it into the side of the charging creature's face for 7 points of a bludgeoning damage. All right.
And then he'll settle back into a stance with his shield up.
And you bring your shield to bear. Very nice. Very nice. All right. This one will take 7. That brings us to the turn of the creatures. All right, this creature that you have struck is... Oh, they have hit dice on them. That's inaccurate. Let's take those away. Okay, there we go. Nope, they're still showing. Why are they showing the health bars?
We can't see the health bars.
We can't see them.
Oh, I'm the only one that can see the health bars? Perfect. Good, because those are inaccurate numbers. All right, the first one here is asleep. It drags itself to a stop mid-charge, cannot move. This one on the far left has been struck by a warhammer. It turns, snarls, looks at you, and attempts a nasty bite upon you. It will roll. I'll use the bite from this. It is the same. A 13 to hit. Does that hit your armor class?
No, perfectly fine here. Luckily.
Excellent. You put your shield up and bash its jaws away. They're unable to find purchase.
I roar over my shield at it.
Ooh. Very nice. You roar back at it. This one here, however, has the ability still to charge. So it is going to go... All right. It looks like this is not Sherazad. Is this Arlo here? Yes, Arlo, you meet the brunt of this thing's charge, and it will roll to hit you with a 22 on its massive bite.
That doesn't.
All right, it sinks its jaws into your flesh, doing a hefty bit of damage. You feel the pain shoot up your arm as you take 11 points of piercing damage from the bite of the creature.
Down to 1.
Ooh,
Ooh.
Still up. I like it. Nice, and that is their turn. Sherazad, you see your companions engage in combat. Arlo has been bitten grievously. Blood flows from his wounds. What do you do?
I'm not going to be able to take 11 points of damage and live, so I'm going to chase this one away with Dissonant Whispers.
Ooh, with a Dissonant Whispers. Excellent. Thank you for rolling that for me. I appreciate. This one does give a saving throw. I thought so. The creature biting into your friend is not very wise. In fact, the Dissonant Whispers take hold into its brain, driving deep. Go ahead and roll me some damage for that.
Oh, there we go.
All right, it takes 10 points of damage, and you can hear it just yelp in pain and fear. And it uses its reaction to turn and flee away from you, the spellcaster, with remaining movement. It does have some remaining movement left. It goes back here. By doing this, provoking an attack of opportunity from Arlo, if you should desire it.
I do. We'll swing. And
Wow.
does that hit?
The 17 does, in fact, hit.
I love dissonant whispers.
All right,
Yeah.
you do 8 bludgeoning damage to the creature. All right, excellent. That... Ooh, the creature seems very wounded as it rushes back away from you. And... Oh, our map does seem to be a little bit disconnected from each other, huh? Let us... Why is that?
Seems fine to me.
Ah, here we go.
Or is it a
The stream. I have 2 instances of Roll20 running. Okay, excellent. So you do 8 points of bludgeoning damage to it. The creature limps away as it retreats from the dissonant whispers and this crushing blow you've given it. It definitely seems to be on its last legs. Excellent, and that will bring us to Arlo. What are you doing here?
I think I'm going to end up running at the wolf that just ran away and give it another smack.
Okay, excellent. You chase after it and take a nice big swing. Go ahead and roll to hit. Ooh,
Not this time.
What is it about your swing that so critically fails? Is this wounded creature just like evades your might?
I think it was more after reeling from that bite and just, taking on after it. Maybe like trips right before and just wildly swings past him.
Okay. Excellent. So it trips, falls into the grass, still wounded. Your swing goes by high. And it goes to Alexi. It is your turn. What do you do?
Okay, I'm gonna move up a little bit closer, 30 feet, and then I'm gonna cast second casting of sleep. This time a little bit further back, in the hopes of reaching both of the still awake creatures.
Okay, absolutely. I believe they are still well within range of your spell. Go ahead and roll me some hit dice on sleep. 28 hit dice. You definitely put them both to sleep. This wounded one not having very much HP left. Immediately you can see goes to sleep in front of your companions, and the full HP one actually still manages to go to sleep. You have effectively ended the wolf's threat here. What do you do?
I'm gonna look around and just make sure we're not, there's not more creatures or more things that we haven't noticed.
All right, you take a tentative look around, and the plains seem to have fallen silent here as the sun begins setting, and these creatures peacefully doze in front of you. So they are going to be asleep for about a minute. One of them had already fallen asleep before, so you probably want to act pretty quickly before they wake up. What's the plan of action here?
So Arthur just had this thing basically like fall asleep off his shield and lie down on the ground, and he's like poised, ready to hit it. But he looks back first at the spellcaster and he says, "They're asleep. What now?"
Yes, we should one at a time simultaneously attack each of the wolves. We've only got a minute, so let's hurry.
A minute. I take my ready attack.
All right. Roll with advantage to clear their AC, and a hit will be a critical strike.
That needs another 12 in total.
Excellent. You do 12 damage to the creature in front of you, Arthur. Very good. As you strike it, I believe that wakes them up from their magical sleep, if I am correct. Uh-huh. Okay, perfect. Who else had a ready to action during that turn?
I think if I could have, I would have swung and tried to permanently knock out this wolf
Absolutely.
in front of me.
Yep. You all gathered together and said, okay, on the count of 3, swing on these things, right? That's what the spellcaster basically said. So anyone who wanted to come up and make an attack in this round will definitely get to. Go ahead and roll at advantage.
Oh. And then... Okay. Advantage.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, you're going to need to roll advantage here. Great. Yeah, you still crit, so that is additional 13. You slay the wolf in front of you. It is dead and has its skull permanently mashed in. Anyone else making a move like that, or the 2 casters kind of staying back?
I guess I would shoot some lasers at the more wolf. This one here.
Okay, go ahead and give me a roll there. What do your lasers look like?
Ooh, I really think about this stuff, but I reckon like because of her astronomy background and the sort of things she might or might not be agreeing with, it looks like a beam of stars and like empty space.
Oh, okay.
Which, oh God, I'm terrible at this.
You roll a 19 though, and that is enough. Your stars and empty space strike. Are you striking the one that Alexei has hit, or are you striking the one sleeping in the middle?
The one that Alexei has hit, because I know better than to wake up sleeping giants.
Okay, absolutely. Go ahead and roll me damage for that. Your stream of stars and empty space strike this creature in the chest as it's waking up in a roar from the swing that Alexei has taken, and it just kind of like disintegrates a little bit. It breaks down and just like turns into this very clearly dead corpse in front of you from the power of your blast. Excellent.
I'm gonna give a satisfied nod to the mage beside me. It's like, let's see you do something like that.
Let's see what you got, huh? All right, excellent. These 2 are dead. We have one person who has not acted. Anything you got, or are we going to the next round?
I will nod satisfied and casually approach the center wolf, ready to coordinate our next attack.
All right, perfect. The center wolf did not wake up during this strike. The 2 wolves lay dead. I assume all of you are going to encircle and beat this thing to death.
Try not to kill it too bad. I'd rather spare the dying creature than, I look back at the creature I bashed in and say, do better than that. Maybe show a bit more
mercy for the giant-sized wolf, huh?
You don't look so good. I feel like these things, they rip apart sentient species, and they're not much worth saving.
Well, maybe we can bash this one to unconsciousness and bring it back for further study.
Yes, sure.
Whoa. Bring it back? On what, your mule?
Oh, yes, it's probably a bit too heavy for that.
Do you intend to ride it?
I raise my warhammer to signal the start of the beating up of the wolf.
Ooh, Arthur, your swing of the warhammer is pretty ineffective. Like you really wanted to crush this creature over the head, but somehow you just strike a glancing blow. Like there's a rock on the ground there that catches the head of your mace. Doesn't quite work. Hephaestus, go ahead and roll at advantage. Arlo, go ahead and roll critical damage for that.
And where I'm just making sure when I'm standing near the creature hitting it, I am standing behind it as to not be there when it wakes up.
All right, go ahead and position yourselves around the creature as unfortunately, you guys you hit the rock and like a glancing blow against the creature. It doesn't quite connect with the warhammer. Alexi also steps up and does the same as Arthur, and just cannot quite connect with his quarterstaff the way he wants to, striking the ground and striking a glancing blow at the same time, like a golfer that took too much of the ground with their strike. It doesn't really do much. Sherazade, your Eldritch Blast just like doesn't have the same efficacy as it did before. It seems like maybe you need some recharge on your astrology, and only Arlo can come in with his mace and land a solid blow. It looks like you've only rolled 5 points of damage. I think you should roll another d6 there. So that's 9 points of damage on this creature. As you strike it, the creature wakes up, looks around, and I think we will be back at the top of initiative order with this creature now ready to fight again. Alexi, you are the first to act as you realize, This wolf has not died and is ready for some more. What do you do?
A little surprised, Alexi stutters for a second and then comes back to swing at it with a quarterstaff.
All right, you come to swing at it with a quarterstaff. With a 20 you hit. Go ahead and roll some damage for me. 8 more points. This time your quarterstaff strikes true. Right into the jaw of the creature. It spits and stutters, but is still up. That leads us to Arthur. It is your turn. How do you react?
Down, foul beast. Ineffectually, it must spin out of the way. Mm-hmm. My warhammer sweeps by it harmlessly.
Yeah, it turns out that the creature is quite nimble on its feet, and will dance out of the way of your strike there. Excellent. That brings us to the turn of the wargs. It kind of looks around, realizes it's surrounded, and is going to attack one of you here. It will choose at random 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is Jamie. Arthur, you are its chosen recipient of a mighty bite attack. It digs down into its gullet and attacks with a 22.
It's all the way past my shield and digs right through my chainmail.
Yes. Oh, its fangs sink in for 9 piercing damage. You can ignore the strength save there. I just this is not a creature that has that. Actually, you need to take 6 points of damage. I shouldn't have clicked damage there. I should have just rolled it. You take 6 points of damage from the bite. And the creature kind of looks back and forth. It looks like it wants to maybe run, but it is definitely cornered in. Sherazade, it is your turn. What do you do?
Well, I'm a warlock, so there's only one thing I can do.
Okay. You open yourself up to the warlock ways.
Oh, dang it, this thing always weird. There we go.
A 21. That will hit the creature. This time, your Eldritch Blast does not fail. For 2, a mighty 2 points of force damage. Oh,
what a successful 2.
What power.
What a power indeed. All right, Arlo, it is your turn. What do you do?
Flustered at this mayhem that's going on, Arlo's just gonna swing again. Hope it hits.
That is an 18. That will hit. Your mace strikes through for 8 more points of damage. That is just enough. Your mace collides with the creature's head. A spray of blood splashes out across your companions on the other side, and the creature dies in front of you. And with that, the night is still, or the evening is still. You have not quite gotten into night yet, as you are on the edges of the Howling Fields. What do you all do?
immediately after, Arlo's gonna look around and see if there's any wolves that are possibly or possibly able to be salvaged with Spare the Dying if he can.
What?
Attempting to cast Spare the Dying. No. All of these creatures have passed the threshold into death.
Arthur is checking out his wound where it's bitten into him, poking at the bite hole. He's like, "Oh yes, this is a little bad. Perhaps we should spend a little time to bandage our wounds, and then quickly find somewhere to sleep before more of these come."
Okay.
I'm starting to have second thoughts about doing all this now.
Yeah, I think Alexei looks around and just examines his party, looking at the injured, who's not. How did we turn out, folks?
On the brink of just death. I'm at 1 currently, so...
I'm around halfish, looking pretty fine. But still, we should... We might as well take use of the... I forget what the new rules call it. It's like a after-battle rest of some kind.
You would like to catch your breath and take the kind of short rest that is available. All right. If you can, feel free to do so. So you spend 10 minutes trying to catch your breath. You may roll any number of hit dice, up to 1/2 of your total, rounded up.
Okay, I'm at 7 now.
All right, excellent. And after you take the time to kind of rest and restore your fighting spirit, lick your wounds, bandage up the bites and the blood, you are ready to begin adventuring again. So you still have... You still had some time left in your adventuring day, but between the fight with the wargs and the conversation with the goblins and then the time spent digging up the gold, it has rapidly proceeded into evening. And you are out
we'd
here...
really want to just find a good place to hole up away from wolves, like the bar lady told us is a good idea anyway. But before we do, I would just like to quickly lay my hands upon, was it
Arlo?
Sorry, I forgot your name. Arlo, yeah. And spend 5 points of lay on hands to get you 5 more HP.
Yeah, back to 12. Nice. Thank you.
And I'm like, yes, must hurry on. Find some place to shelter for the night, where those wolves can't get at us.
Retrospectively, we probably should have followed goblins a bit.
Should we come back for the gold on our way back? It's getting late.
Well, the nice people in town did say that the wolves only attack in the dawn or the dusk. Grab the gold right now and let's go.
Dawn
and dusk?
I might be misremembering. I thought night would have been...
Even at night.
Yeah, would have been bad as well.
I think in any case, Alexei acknowledges the conversation and begins to pick through the dirt to at least pocket a few coins for his records.
We were right there, so I think Arlo is gonna just go back at it for a little bit and see what we can.
Yes, fine. Let's hurry. I'll get down in the muck and try to scoop up. I'm not bothering being far. Just anything I can get in the sack.
I'll help out. I'll produce some flame. I'll create a mode of flame so you guys can see by. That's all I'm gonna give you guys. Just grab me a couple pieces. I'm helping.
You create a mote of flame and watch as your companions begin once again digging through the dirt and trying to get at all the coins after so much work. As you do so, the moon begins to rise. And as you are watching there with your mote of flame, your other companions digging through the dirt to get to the gold, there's still some sunlight left from the setting sun, but as the moonlight comes up, you see the features of the dead corpses of the wolf-like creatures beginning to change. They still lie defeated on the ground, but the flesh and fur that was on them begins to kind of melt away. And as more moonlight touches them, they begin to take on a like skeletal form in front of you.
Ooh.
Skeletal.
Should we bash them again?
It's just to hurry up and to get to, the majority of the treasure. We don't need all of it. I'd much prefer our lives.
Take a hand, everyone, and let's bounce.
Look, you're a cleric of some sort. Yes.
Yeah.
Do holy stuff on this.
Do holy stuff.
I don't know if this is very holy. I'm just gonna.
No, it is very not.
Well, you've lived in these parts, haven't you? Is this a regular phenomena in the mists?
I mean, not this far out. I've never seen whatever this is. I've never heard of it. I don't know if anyone else has.
So they're just a pile of bones now?
Yes, they as more like the moon isn't fully risen. It's just it's coming out as the sun sets, and you can tell that as it gets darker and the moonlight touches more of them, they begin to lose the flesh and fur in front of your eyes and are becoming more and more skeletal.
You know what? F it. I'm a mage. I do magic stuff. I research. I'm gonna take a femur and some teeth.
All right, you reach in nervously to take a femur and some teeth. Fortunately, at least one of the creatures is skeletalized enough to see them. You reach in, you take a femur. A tense moment passes. You have a femur. You reach in, some teeth. Nothing changes yet, but the process continues farther along the creatures the longer they stay in the moonlight. But you are now in possession of a wolf femur and a handful of wolf teeth.
It can only go well.
Can only go well.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it on the mule.
Okay.
Because if something bad's gonna happen, it's gonna be to somebody's ass.
How dare you? Your lucky Arthur's not there to see this.
All right. As you secure your booty in the mule, the rest of you digging at the treasure have finally uncovered this kind of palanquin of like wood that the goblins had been carrying, and on top of it, now covered in dirt and rocks and loose soil, is just a pile of treasure. These coins, gold and silver and copper, and some even of metals that you're not quite familiar with, all imprinted with a strange mark. You don't recognize it at all. It in fact looks a little bit like a crown, but the crown made of something that you are unfamiliar with, and the weathers and ravages of time make the fine details of the print hard to make out. But this unfamiliar crown of unfamiliar shaped coins is in your possession. There is 400 GP worth of coins that we will all say weighs 10 pounds in total to carry.
I suggest we just chuck it on the mule, and we'll split it back in town.
Just because I'm a worrywart, why don't each of us take 10, the rest go on the mule. That way, if for whatever reason the mule doesn't make it, we at least come out with something.
That's true. I was just, it's a little heavy, but you're right. Yes. Better to be sensible with it.
And just to be clear about the stamping, is it distinct from the regular currency we use in town?
Very distinct, yes. Both the size and shape of the coins are bigger. Like they're a bigger coin, and it's not a perfect circle. It's round, but it's an oblong shape, different from your currency. The crown on top of it is very distinct. The currency that you have is printed with the face of the good king. You are seeing here some other print on the coin.
So you say that none of us would know anything about this. Could a history check change that?
Perhaps. How is it that you are familiar with ancient coins of forgotten people? How have you come across this knowledge before?
Well, before I was exiled, I was spending a lot more time in the ancient libraries of Kari.
Okay.
Spending most of my time researching ancient civilizations with a theory that something must have influenced them.
Okay. I appreciate that. So you've spent a lot of time researching ancient civilizations in your character's past. That jives with me. So yeah, let's say you've been researching the past. History seems like an appropriate skill to have proficiency with. That sounds like an intelligence history check to me. Go ahead and roll me intelligence history. Yeah.
Could I assist Sherazad with
how could you provide assistance? Tell me on what you're doing.
I'd like to
help him.
My theory that I'd like to try and disprove is I wonder if these are imported coins at some point in history, perhaps from other places. So I could eliminate some theories.
Okay, using your own knowledge of imports and exports to kind of bounce off of here. Sure, I'll allow you to assist. So go ahead and roll an intelligence history check at advantage for me, if you would, Malum. A 21. Very good. You are quite certain, first, that this is not an imported coin from the south. You are quite certain that with your extensive knowledge of ancient history, that this is not a coin from civilization south of the mist. So you're quite sure it comes from the mist. You have, in fact, seen coins like this before, however. During the Goblinoid Wars, when they incurred south past the mountains many generations ago, some of them brought strange weapons and stranger currencies and treasures and baubles with them. You are recognizing the print of this bloody crown, a crown made of 7 blood drops printed together to form a crown. Some of the goblinoids carried treasures like this with them. It doesn't appear that they ever used it as currency from the research that you have, but they carried it like treasure, like trinkets and precious things to them.
I'm going to put my 10 crown gold back onto the mule.
Okay.
I'm now deeply suspicious.
Okay.
Wonder what other king there is other than the...
Well, we really should get on to find some place to rest. Don't want to be beleaguered by strange undead wolves. Unlike any undead I've ever heard about, that's for sure.
I'll second that.
So you want to find shelter here quickly, as it is rapidly approaching night, and you are aware of the dangers of the night. How is it that you're going to find shelter to keep you safe from the wolves? What is it that you are looking for here in the plains?
I would imagine any kind of like drop in the ground suddenly, like some sort of like, I mean, maybe like some dried up riverbed or like just a big rock that we can camp next to for at least some
small copses of trees, collections of rock. Yeah.
Okay. Small copses of trees, collections of rock, a drop in the ground. These sound like reasonable things to me. They might provide you some form of protection.
As long as we're not out in the open.
Yeah, so whoever is the person with the highest survival wisdom roll, go ahead and roll me at advantage, because it sounds like the whole group is helping to try to find this. Roll me a survival wisdom to try to find how effective a shelter you are able to get here in the plains on short notice.
That's you, right, Arla?
Yeah, I'll roll it. So.
Okay. A 13. So you're able to find some rocks that are grouped kind of close together in a small dip in the plains. It's the best you can find in the area, but it is probably not up to the standards you were hoping to find. But you realize quickly after spending the time that you can that night is coming quickly and it's time to set up camp. And so you do here. Excellent. So we have reached the end of the day here. You have been traveling at a slow pace. I will go ahead and mark the hexes on my map. I want each of you to roll me a foraging roll, unmodified. You were traveling at a slow pace, so there's no disadvantage to foraging for food and water. Go ahead and you need to beat for the pastures that you went through and the beginning of the Howling Fields a DC uncertain. Hold on. A DC 10 for foraging through this area.
Is this a particular skill?
Foraging would be survival wisdom. I'm sorry. Okay. We have 2 failures. However, Lexi and Arthur have both passed. So water skins are filled. You found a small stream or a nice farmer along the way that allowed you to refill your water skins. You are not dehydrating. However, to the 2 failures, I need 2 pounds of rations to be eaten by both of you. You're unable to find enough food to replace those rations lost. And I don't mind if they come from the wolf or the mule or your own character sheet, but keep track of who's carrying the rations and where they went.
I deducted from my own rations this one.
Perfect. Alrighty, so that is that. So let us see if you have an encounter in the night. You guys rolled during the day. I will roll this encounter. Yep.
Arthur was going to suggest going without a fire, just in case.
Okay.
That matters for the encounter.
Sure. You do not have a fire for your rest today. So what is it like as you have created this camp? No fire, and you are on watch. Any of you can answer. But what are you doing here in the night? What is it like in your first night here at the edge of the Howling Fields?
This sucks. I hate it. It's cold. I'm dirty. I'm covered in blood. There's dirt over there. Where do I even poo? I'm not happy.
Arthur's, he's not really experiencing any emotion in particular. Watchful would be his emotion, if such a thing were an emotion. Just carefully hunkering down in the rocks during his watch and occasionally, moving to another sector of them to get a different viewpoint out. To make sure nothing's on any side.
Alexi studies the coins, thinking on the story that our team recalled earlier, wondering how the goblins might have found them, or did they make them? Just thinking on this.
All right. Well, the 4 of you spend a cold, pensive night with no fire, but fortunately, it seems whatever beasts lurk deeper into the Howling Fields did not make it to the edge where you are, and your shelter was enough to pass the night, and morning comes. So, you have finished a night's rest. You may spend any number of hit dice that you have remaining from the day before, and recover HP that way. Afterwards, you will recover up to 1/2 of your total hit dice pool to use again, rounded up, of course, if there's a fraction, and you will regain any of the short or long rest class features that you would have recovered by the Player's Handbook rules. All right, we're at the start of a new day. Is Arlo continuing as the navigator for the group?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then I will want an intended route that you are taking and a appropriate navigation check. Oh, and the pace that you will go at.
Slow again, same general direction, maybe a bit more straight on northwest this
Okay.
time, rather than more north or more west.
Okay.
Yeah. Then
I mean, both for yesterday and the coming day, do we ever catch sight of the swamp?
You have not caught sight of the swamp. No. Not yet.
Cool.
All right, so you have rolled a 15. It turns out that navigation in the Howling Fields is not particularly more difficult than navigation in the pastures that you just left from. It is a DC 10 navigation, so you are quite certain that you are heading northwest, a little bit more north than west this time, and you are leading on exactly as you wanted to. The four of you go ahead and give me some D6s for encounters during the day. Alrighty, and then I will roll for a discovery. Excellent. Go ahead and tell me, as you are traveling along today, you are now in the Howling Fields proper. As you travel northwest, there are large, high grasses, the occasional big standing stone, an occasional kind of large tree or two, or small copse of them. But for the most part, you're going through high grasses. You see hawks and other kind of flying birds looking for prey. The occasional deer, squirrel, maybe a little on edge from your previous day's encounters, maybe not. How is it that you travel through here? What is it? Take me through your mindset and what's going on as you make your way through the Howling Fields.
Well, Arthur's actively craning his head around, and we'll try to keep the conversation up. Less people to talk to around today, but I feel I'm starting to know these people pretty well, so I'll talk about, like, I wonder where those wolf things spend all of their days. If they only come out at night because there's these weird skeleton things or something, surely they have, like, a den around here somewhere, and they'll peering all around and trying to point things interesting around the horizon, like maybe if a flock of birds is somewhere in particular, like, I wonder if there's a kill over there that they're spotting. Maybe that has something to do with the wolves. If anybody wants to talk about the coins or about the goblins or about these swamps, where he's like, oh yes, there's maybe lizards off that way. I doubt they'd come out of their swamp very often. Just all sorts of whatever they want to talk about.
Wonders out loud. I wonder where the goblins found these coins.
Probably the old keep. Olo, you're leading us. Do you think this is the direction we're going? During the time we're walking, I'm just slowly trying to draw a map so we have a kind of clear idea how to get back.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean,
It's like, oh, okay, well, we passed treasure here, wolves coming down from here. Old manor? Question?
Arlo will very much help consulting his map that he's making. And
as you two are consulting your map, and your head is buried in it, conversing back and forth about these coins, you are kind of stopped short by the sounds of people nearby. All of you are made aware rather quickly, as there's no attempt to hide or disguise the sound that they're making. And so I assume you all stop short and listen, and you hear the voices of people in like hushed tones talking, and it sounds as if there's being care taken to people. You hear the sounds of cloth ripping and tearing, some sharp intakes of pain. It sounds as if you are hearing on the wind carried to you the sounds of people in distress or being tended to. What do you do?
Well, I'm very interested in this. I'll immediately start sniffing around on the air. I suppose Dragonborn probably have a pretty good sense of smell, but flicking my ears about where is this exactly, and trying to hunt it out by walking a few meters in every direction and seeing whether it gets louder.
All right. Yeah, you walk a few. It doesn't really even take you that much effort as you walk around looking for the source of this. Some 150 feet to your right, to the east, towards the Howling Fields kind of center, you see a group of people, and there are 4 of them kind of circling, like with their backs propped up against a very large rock. And it seems as if they are wounded in some way. They have blood streaming from them. Their armor is ripped and torn. Some of them seem to be in much worse states than others. And there are 5 more of these people dressed in fairly like good armor, black and polished. Hard to see much more about that from this distance. That are in various states of either keeping an eye out and in like kneeling down and helping those who are wounded.
The wounded also have the black polished armor?
Yes, although most of them are, you see the armor in kind of disrepair. It's broken and injured, or like it looks like it's been beaten up by something, but they are all wearing it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, before you all start calling out to people, because apparently you like to talk to everything that moves around, even the dogs.
What do you mean? Those are injured people.
It's just we don't know who they are. Okay.
Strange enough to see people out here that you might as well introduce ourselves.
But yes, please be mindful. We have an ass full of gold.
My only concern is if they would be bandits. That's
You
otherwise.
see, I will go ahead and move you all over to the Howling Fields battle map again. You see this. You're not this close, right? You're still 150 feet away. But this is the kind of the formation that you see in front of you. There are the 4 injured around this rock. 2 of the people are caring for it. And there are 3 kind of as lookouts. You seem to be keeping a wary eye, but none of them have noticed you and your party's presence.
Ivor stops at his companion's comment and thinks to himself and wonders about the guards he's seen around the keep that we come from. Would they look similar to these people, or not at all?
I'm sorry, could you say again who you think they were similar to?
The guards back at the keep?
No,
Like
these do not look anything like the King's Guard. The King's Guard have the regalia of the royal house. They are of like nice chainmail with tabards, and they're very recognizable. These are blackened armor, dark. From the 150 feet away, it's hard to tell too much if there's identifying marks, but they're definitely not the King's Guard.
And to confirm, they're not carrying any kind of banners or any other insignia.
There's
like,
no
noticeable.
Not from the distance that you're at. There's nothing noticeable from here.
I mean, I suppose it could be that bandit gang that the job board said was out here somewhere. They were called the Jackals.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. Do you still want to go talk to them?
I
mean, 4 of them are injured. We could kill them all right here.
Do you recall a reward or something for?
Only for their leader, I think. But perhaps it would be. I'm not quite sure what to think about this.
Carlo will adjust his holy symbol nervously and kind of mutter,
Okay.
I don't
Okay. Let us think prudently.
I don't think we should mess. I mean, they have
Thinking prudently. If they are bandits, they'll find our fire sooner or later.
And if they are bandits, it's our duty to bring them down, I think.
Yes. As good upstanding citizens, let us murder all 9 of them.
And if they're not
I'm
bandits,
not
then we have to
quite
help
sure
them.
that's what a good upstanding citizen would do. It would be
No.
better to try to bring them back to civilization and convince them to change their ways. And I mean, they're in a vulnerable position that maybe they would actually consider it, where they might not otherwise.
That would work.
In a vulnerable situation. They may just be waiting for suckers like us.
An ambush? Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, what do y'all want to do?
Maybe it would be best to just make our way around them.
Yeah, they have 5 people still seemingly fine. I mean, I hope that nothing happens to the 4, but I don't think we can take another encounter like the wolves. I don't know if we can take all 9 of them if they were to spring up and just attack us.
There are only 5 that seem uninjured, is that right?
That is
Right.
correct. Yeah, the 4 around the rock not only seem injured, seem near grievously so. Like they are in need of urgent tending too, which is taking place at the moment, as far as you can tell.
Can we tell if they have like bows?
Yes, you can tell. Despite the 150 feet distance, their arms are noticeable. You will see that laying on the ground. Well, no, you wouldn't see them laying on the ground. You'd see the ones that were on people. You see that each of these men are carrying a long, wide blade. Looks something like a scimitar each. And rather than a bow, you can see as the ones on patrol, at least, strapped to their hip, have a light crossbow like on their belt loop, ready to be picked up at a moment's notice.
It doesn't seem wise to me to get on the bad side of these people. If they were friendly, perhaps we could offer them aid.
What are the 2 closest uninjured ones to the injured people doing? Are they like helping patching them up, or?
Yeah, you can hear the sounds of care being taken, carrying on the like wind to your group. They're tearing cloth, bandaging open bleeding wounds. Some of them they seem to be just giving medical ministrations as like kind of field dressing, right? This isn't a proficient doctor or anything. This is just, we gotta stitch you up now or it's not gonna happen.
And we can see the wounds open.
Definitely, yeah. There's a lot of blood, and even from this distance, you can see it.
Okay, Arlo's gonna say, I think maybe we should step in. I have the power to save them.
You know what? This seems like a situation where they might have encountered something I don't want to. Let me take the donkey. I'll move somewhere else while you guys go in. If anything happens, I'll blow the whistle.
Theo? Why do you want Theo?
Because
he carries
he's
all
full
my
of
stuff.
gold.
What if I need my rope?
Because he's full of gold. If they are bandits, they will attack us for the gold.
Well,
But
they're
if they
in
don't
the
see the
backpacks.
gold, they'll hang out jingling.
It's not like
Zod,
it's hanging out.
I think you worry too much. I suggest we just approach them. And
It's all tucked away.
steps
I'm sure
forward.
they can't smell it or anything.
I mean, you
I
don't know
will
that.
hand my pouch of money and currency to Charizard and approach the people.
If it makes you feel better, sure. Keep Theo here, and I'll go in with him.
Okay. I'm gonna stay like kind of a distance away with the donkey.
Okay, so Charizard is staying behind with the donkey. Are the rest of you approaching, or is anyone staying with Charizard?
Everyone's approaching.
Sounds like we're all going.
Okay, so the 3 of you begin approaching. Do you attempt to hide your approach at all, or are you just marching east?
No. In fact, once they can, I think they can hear us, I'll wave and say, "Hello, friends. Do you need help?"
All right. You begin approaching. You wave. Hello, friends. You approaching. You are approaching from their west to the east, left to right on the map. So the man here kind of sees you. You hear a sharp whistle. He puts his fingers to his mouth, and a sharp whistle rings out. And he
Whistles are good.
huh?
See, whistles are good ideas.
you can notice all of the attentions of the other men snap kind of towards him. He points, he shouts, "Hey, you three! What are you doing out here?"
We were in search of a manor that seemed to be out this way, but we noticed y'all. I could maybe see if I can lend my aid to your injured.
Looks you up and down a little bit. Alright. Leave your weapons and armor right over there. And come on over with just medical equipment and naught else. Otherwise, he kind of pulls the leather cord off of his hand crossbow. He says, I'll cut you down. I promise it.
Come now, friend. Perhaps you've heard the good word of Pelor, the god of the sun. I am just here to spread hope and friendship amongst the people here.
The last time I heard a cleric talking nonsense, he tried to burn me alive. I ain't having it. Put your weapons down.
I dropped
yes.
all my stuff.
I suppose I can leave my weapon here, but perhaps it would take quite some time to take my armor off. I hope you don't mind if I keep it.
Armor's off, buddy. This ain't a negotiation. You do what I say, or you move on.
I turn to Arlo and say, well, it doesn't sound very much like they want our help.
Well, maybe
Okay.
Arthur, you could stay here, and Arlo and I can approach them.
Yes, sure. It seems like a good compromise.
All right, so we have Sherazad off with the mule, Timothy, and then you've approached some amount, and now Arthur's staying put, and we're just like creating like a line of misfit PCs. All right.
I sit cross-legged in the grass, and there's like a little rock nearby, and I lean my warhammer against it.
All right. Alexi and Arlo, you take the time to doff your armor. You lay your weapons aside and approach. The man doesn't really let go of his crossbow. He keeps it in his hand and watches, but seeing you do this, waves you in. As you approach, you see that blazoned across his chest, on his black armor, now that you are really close up, is a red jackal's head. And you notice that each of the men in this clearing also have the red jackal's head emblazoned on the breast of their armor. Otherwise, their armor is unmarked, is just blackened and dark with this single emblazoned jackal's head. As you approach, he kind of looks you up and down. "You're a healer, eh? Left your cleric behind. Come, these are my men. Attacked by some kind of awful beast. Sharp teeth rend right through our armor. You can save their life, be happy.
Perhaps withered in the moonlight?
We're not stupid enough to be out in the moonlight."
Not us either, friend.
Supposing someone was stupid enough to be in the moonlight. I'm new to these parts. What's the implication there?
Ain't nobody comes back. You gotta make it back to camp. There's an old building we use. Otherwise, nothing.
Camp. Where would that be? If you mind telling.
I do mind.
Okay. I'll slowly, with hands up, approach the injured and look to see where they're...
The uninjured men kind of like step back a little bit. You can see that they've done basic field dressing, tried to apply pressure to open wounds, there's a open kind of torch that they've used to cauterize someone who's missing piece of their hand, and like these four are in not fighting shape at all. And they kind of watch you closely. There's a very, very much implied threat of violence if you do anything they don't like, but they're willing to let you step forth and do what you will to try to help their men.
Yeah. Would these be dying that I can possibly spare?
These spare the dying doesn't heal like wounds actively, right? I guess if one of them were to bleed out and begin dying or to die, you could use spare the dying on them. They aren't currently dead. They're alive, though untended to might die.
Okay. Yeah, I'll, I guess, rip off, if I can, some of my clothing and just try to patch them up better than how these guys have been doing already.
Okay, excellent. You begin trying to patch them up. Are you trained in medicine, I would presume?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I'm sorry?
I was going to say, Alexei happens to be trained as well in medicine and points out, you ought to, stitch this man here and tie a loose end there.
Okay.
Not engaging directly in the bloody activity, but giving some guidance.
Keep the hands away. You, Tom Sawyer it real good. Excellent. So you begin ripping up clothes, trying to do the best you can. You know more than these people do. These people just know basic field, try not to die knowledge. You begin tending to the wounds of these people. 3 of them you're going to be able to save relatively easily. Like you need to spend the time to tend to their wounds. The 4th one, though, does seem to be losing blood quite fast. The bite in his armor has broken like ribs and has punctured internal organs. There seems to be like real opportunity for him to have lost his life. So I will have you roll a medicine check at advantage to try to stabilize this man and make sure that he makes it through. That will do it. So you pass your DC 12 medicine check, and this is a patched up person. He will need more medical attention in the future, but for now is stable and probably transportable.
Yeah, I'll relay that to them, saying you need to keep a real eye on this man. If he does anything too strenuous, everything's going to open up again, and that's going to be a real mess for everyone.
He nods his head. He kind of looks over to the other people around him and says, "All right, should we take him back to Doc Martin? Or do we just leave him here? Doesn't sound like he's going to make it otherwise." And there's a little bit of debate amongst them. And they say, we're not that far out. We should be able to get him back to Doc. And they kind of turn to the 2 of you. They're like, all right, you done your part here. In return, we won't take all of your stuff. Piss off.
Thank you for letting us help. And we'll turn back and...
I think, would it be possible that while we were tending to their men, that we could interview or ask them, like, what attacked you? What did it look like? That kind of thing?
Yeah. You ask them, they say, I don't know. It's a big beast came out of the sky. It had wings like leather, but it had the face of like a human. It was so strange. It cast a human shadow. And it tore at us with nasty fangs, at least the size of a small horse.
Sounds horrifying.
It was. This area up here ain't fit for civilized folk like us.
Was it around here or some ways away?
He kind of nods up north. We ran back here as best we could. Lost about 4 of us to it, and it started eating them. We took what wounded we could and dragged them here.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Me too. Good sword arms, them.
I would also like to have asked them directly, like, what does that symbol mean? I'm new to these parts, unfamiliar. Is this some group you're a part of?
Kind of eyes you a little bit. You never heard of the Jackals?
Can't say I have. New, like I said.
Well, that's fair. I don't understand. You would think that everyone would know about us around here. They go, ha ha. They're like, well, we're the only bandits that call this place home, don't you know? Those damn King's Roaders, always trying to do us in. Mad Eye took us up here. Turns out there's treasure up here. Lots of it. We're digging around for it. One of these days we'll make it back down south. Mad Eye's looking for something. Don't tell him I told you that. Anyway, that was way more information than I should have told you. Feel lucky you're not getting beat upside the head.
It's okay. I'll keep this between us, and I wink at him.
I don't like this
I wish
winking
y'all luck.
thing. Huh?
I'll wish y'all luck. Hopefully y'all find what y'all are looking for.
I agree. Sooner we take what we got and head back, the better. Can't wait to get out to the bars again.
Mm.
Well, Arlo, should we head off?
Yeah, let's head back. Take care, friends.
All right. They watch you, eye you until you leave their circle, and you are free once again to go about your adventuring.
Luckily, I didn't take my pouch full of 22 gold over there. But,
Well,
Yeah.
everything went fine then.
yeah,
They
somehow.
did you tell them they could make a good living back at the town and it would be less dangerous for them?
I got caught up in the moment and I just didn't mention it, but
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
They were the bandits, to be sure, though. They had the red jackal.
they were very much bandits. We are quite lucky that they didn't shoot us down on the spot, but
So if you relay any of that information to me, I'm gonna mark down about where we are on our map. Like, okay, bandits approximately a day away from here.
Yes, and they did say it sounded like their home base was somewhere close by, within a day's journey.
Donahoe?
Say again?
Was it Camp Donahoe? That what they mentioned?
I didn't catch the name. The Doc Martin was a person they mentioned, and Mad Eye was a person they mentioned. Apparently there's treasure in these parts. That's what they told me as well.
Apparently.
I look at the mule and it's like, oh really?
All over the place.
Yes, good idea
Yeah.
with the mule.
It's closer than you think.
Well, still some travel left in us.
Hopefully we can find some treasure of our own soon.
Did
enough.
they say where they were holding up?
Can I suggest maybe we move at a better pace, get some distance?
Yes, let's move a little more faster to get some distance, and then
It's gonna
Absolutely.
take us another day after this one anyway, probably.
sure.
Yes, but it's another day away from them. Maybe,
Yeah.
or maybe we'll go in the same direction they are. I don't know.
Which way do they start heading off, or do they wait for us to leave?
They wait for you to leave. They kind of watched the two of you head off to join your companions before gathering themselves up to go anywhere.
So this creature they mentioned, is that a Lamasu?
I wouldn't know.
Where it's like a chimera. It's ugly.
Hmm.
I've never seen one, of course, but you know.
Some bizarre thing, leather wings, face like a man. Never heard
Sounds
such things.
strange and terrifying. However, I think we should just keep at a leisurely pace. We've done them some good. They probably won't backstab us. Maybe.
No,
Yeah.
Yes,
they have
no,
wounded to
because
care.
they've never done anything like
Oh.
that.
Well, they have wounded to care for. They'll be busy. One could assume. I think we can just keep going at a slow pace.
Yeah.
Keeping our eyes out for stuff properly.
All right. You continue at a slow pace. That is good. You continue back on northwest. You pass through more large plains and grasses. The terrain, while varied, is invariably kind of just reissuing the same kind of things to you. More rocks, more large grasses, more birds of prey and small game dancing in and out. You were largely unmolested through the rest of the morning into the afternoon. Stop, you eat some, have a nice lunch, and in the early part of the afternoon, let's see, which one of you? One is Alexei. Alexei, you are the only one to notice that rising out of the plains, some probably 100, 200 feet away from you, is an odd standing stone. It is very noticeable just because it gives you like height on the horizon. As you kind of look about, you see this standing stone off the beaten path away from where you are heading. It is about probably 15 feet high, a man's height, and then twice again. And the stone itself appears to be carved in some way. It isn't a natural standing stone. It definitely has the appear of man-make or of some kind of intelligence behind it, though it stands alone in the grassy fields.
I'll point it out to the group and say, a stone up ahead. We might gain some more vision across the horizon if we should stand atop it.
Sounds like a good idea.
At the very least, it's a good landmark.
Yeah.
True. We should definitely go see it.
Shall we?
I will start to lead
How
the
much
way
of a
over.
detour would it be?
It's about, it's between 100 and 200 feet off the beaten path, away from the northwest. It's gonna cost you, I don't know, some amount of time to investigate it potentially, but to just wander that direction and back, no more than a handful of minutes.
Okay.
We are here to explore, after all, and this is, I'd wager, one of the more interesting things we've seen.
Certainly.
All right.
So we went a day west-west-north to about here, and then we're going northwest, approximately here. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was...
Because it should be like 3 or 4 days there. Is that what they were said?
I think they said a little more than 2, so at a slow pace, around 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's about right. Are we like halfway through the day when we're seeing this thing?
Yeah, you've passed your midday into the early parts of the afternoon.
But yes, let's go have a look.
All right. You see the standing stone. You go to investigate it. As you approach, you realize that as you get closer, the area immediately surrounding the standing stone is a scattering of bones. There are animal bones of all kind, and you also see mixed among them bones of humanoids, all about this clearing, probably within 40, 50 feet of the standing stone. As you approach closer, you notice that mixed among the bones of the humanoids, you see the glint of equipment, metals rusting in the sun, just in all directions, north, south, east, west, everything in between, scattered almost haphazardly about the standing stone. What is the passive nature of all of your members, of all of the party? What is your passive nature skills?
8. Somebody
8.
beat that.
Nice.
5.
5! Ooh.
You mean +5, right? So,
So
What would passive
13.
nature be?
whatever your nature
So
skill is.
your passive skill is 8 plus the attributes associated with it plus any proficiency you may have in it. So it would be like your spellcasting modifier, but for nature.
Then I would be a 10.
Yeah, 10.
13.
10, 13, 8. Okay. The 13 is just enough that you realize the area around you now has grown eerily silent. There are no animal sounds to be heard. And you're just standing next to this large alien-ish standing stone and a pile of bones and creatures around it.
I look at Theo. How does Theo feel about this?
Theo has immediately become skittish. Now that you have approached it, the mule sees bones. Its eyes have gone wide. It definitely, you feel the fear of this creature as you approach the standing stone.
Lexi will, on the word of the bandits, Lexi will look up in the sky expectantly.
You look up in the sky expectantly, but you don't see any large shadows, man-sized or otherwise. In fact, the sky is empty. You see no birds, no anything in the sky, just the clear blue space above.
What is carved into the stone?
Carved into the stone is a pattern, spiraling up it. The pattern seems to be just kind of random geometric shapes to you as you look upon it. They aren't exactly squares, circles, triangles, just shapes, not perfectly round, not perfectly at correct angles, and they're in this kind of slow spiral up the 15-foot standing stone.
Does the pattern repeat itself, or is it just random shapes like that?
You begin looking, trying to find a repeat in the pattern, and sure enough, it does. There's a repeating portion to the pattern. It doesn't seem to give you much meaning, but you do notice that the shapes do repeat.
Does it look like a language to me, or is it just patterns?
It does not look like written language. No.
Then I'm going to take one of my pieces of parchment and some dirt, and I'm going to do a very rudimentary charcoal rubbing of the pattern, best I can.
Okay.
You're gonna have to go up through the bones for that. We're still like, I don't know, what is it, 50 feet out to the edge of the bone circle?
We'll get to it, Dragon. This is, science is important. All right, get the bones out of the way.
All right.
I'll go tie Theo up to a tree somewhere at some distance where he seems safe. Not skittish anymore. And I'll come back and say.
Yeah, you leave the bones far enough behind that you can leave the mule somewhere. It seems to still be a little bit on edge, but the immediate fear and skittishness of it is alleviated with this distance put between you and the stone. The parchment rubbing works, although with dirt it's less permanent, right? You have essentially dirty paper, but it does show the imprint here.
I can trace it out later.
Yes.
But I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a quick sketch, kind of how I see the stone and the surroundings, and then I'm like, I'm good. Let's leave.
Lexi will say, "Could I have a minute? I think it's worth a chance. I don't expect I'll be coming back here." But so he begins to chant a spell and actually touch the stone with his hands.
Okay, what spell do you cast on the stone? Oh, you
comprehend languages.
I see. Comprehend languages.
I don't know.
So this is not a written language that you understand as you cast comprehend languages and touch the stone. But your magic does interact with the magic of the stone in some way. And rather than getting a coded message or an understanding, your eyes are like shown magical vision as if your head cocked back up and you see straight up into the sky, past the blue sky and into the depths of space. And you feel a waiting and a like anticipation of a coming in this like far distance of space, but nothing is there yet.
Mm-hmm. Alexei shudders for a moment and just speaks to the group. That didn't go as expected. Certainly isn't a written language, but it revealed something far more disturbing. I looked to the sky expectantly.
Okay, well, that's foreboding. Thank you. I am now not going to sleep.
Well, what is it that I wonder is drawing all of these creatures here to die or something? Because surely this can't be natural. There's all sorts of different kinds of creatures and some humanoids as well, by the looks of it.
Well, since he mentions this, can I look at some of the bones and see if they might have died naturally or, extremely forcibly?
Looking for like broken bones and
teeth marks, claw marks, anything.
You investigate and there's a lot of bones here. You begin going through them. You don't seem to see any that have been smashed or broken. You don't see marks of a blade or teeth marks on them. They seem to be, other than the time, these are sun-bleached and aged. It seems that the time has taken their toll on them. Many are brittle, but you don't see any markings. It doesn't seem like they were touched or harmed before becoming bones.
I don't believe anything killed these. This might be self-sacrifice. We should probably leave.
Is there any particular arrangement to them, or does it seem random?
It does seem random. The more you look at it, the more convinced you are that this is haphazard. There's bones in every direction, but random. The more and more you look, the less and less you see a pattern.
And you said it was like old, right?
Yes. The bones themselves are a range of ages as you look at them. You begin investigating more closely. There are some that are clearly ancient and some that appear more recent, but all have become bones. There's nothing like recently within the last few days deceased. Everything has been at least old enough to become bone.
Well, that leaves one last thing. Can someone give me a lift up here? Alexei intends to stand on top of the stone.
Yeah. Sure. If that's what you want, I'll go and give him a boost.
Yeah, you get a boost up and scramble up to the top. You are now at basically the highest point of the plains. You're 15 feet up on this strange standing stone, staring out.
Is there anything on the surface of the top that I wouldn't have seen on the sides?
No. The pattern continues all the way to the top, and is there as well, in kind of a helical spiral on the flat top. The pillar itself goes up, and then there's a flat kind of square about enough for a human to sit cross-legged on comfortably, but not else more space. And the helical pattern goes around and around in that little flat squared top until it reaches itself in a kind of termination point.
I think there's two more things I want to investigate here, and I'm pretty much done. One is Alexei will attempt to knock on it to see if it might be hollow or listen
It
to it
is
to see?
solid stone for sure. When you knock on it, you do not feel it to be hollow. In fact, it is a heavy stone. Gives you very little feedback from your knock. As you listen intently, you hear just an agonizing silence. It is quieter here than it has been since you left town a day ago.
Strange. And then the last thing I'll do is Lexi will cast the light spell at the top point of the stone just to see how it might interact. His other spell had an unintended and unexpected effect, so he wonders if there's some other interactions with magic here.
How lucky are you feeling? Roll me an unmodified d20.
Somewhat lucky.
You are somewhat lucky. Maybe it's good luck. Maybe it's bad luck. You're not sure, but the light spell has no other effect than to create light here at the top of the pillar.
Oh god, I really want to shoot an Eldritch Blast at it now.
Well, if you folks have any
With star lasers.
magic you wish to experiment, do it now. Otherwise, I think we should be gone.
Yes, we'll have to tell some more people around the town about this. This is exceptionally strange, and I don't know what to make of it. Speaking of town, we should start thinking about if we're going to be able to make it back in time.
Well,
Is this a like meta to the session thing?
Yes.
Okay. My cutoff is in an hour and a half for weekday games, so we still have some of that to go. Unless one of you need to jump out sooner.
Might not be able to make it all the way to the Old Manor and back at this rate.
well, we're only a day out from the manor. Least we can do is check it out, see what's there, and then come back with all this gold.
Yes, at least we'll be able to tell them something about it. Sure. Pressing onwards then.
All right.
Right. I think stepping away, you mentioned that there might have been some other artifacts besides bones. Alexi will just grab something random that seems interesting and take it with him.
Okay, you take a random bone. Are you a humorous guy?
Oh, sorry. To be clear, I was looking for anything that wasn't a bone. You said there were some things.
Yes, there's mundane equipment here of other humanoids. You begin looking around. There are torches, lamps. There are pieces of armor, old backpacks that are in various states of disrepair. Anything metallic or made of some kind of wood or substance that would stand the test of time from the basic equipment list is here.
Yeah, I'll just take anything metallic that might have some markings to research later.
Nice dagger or something.
All right. Go ahead and roll on either like for the equipment piece itself or on the trinkets table and add that to your character sheet.
Okay. I'll figure out what that is and
right.
follow up on that later.
Excellent. So, the four of you go to leave the pillar then?
Yeah.
I've been standing near the donkey far away.
Oh yeah, it's not a bad idea to be near the donkey now, is it? Safe donkey. Donkey is safe.
All right. You
Cast
begin.
sanctuary on donkey.
You begin to move on. You be going northwest again, I presume.
Yeah.
All right. You begin heading northwest, back over hills, not hills, but like slight undulations in the plains, large grasslands and rocks, and you are going along, and you begin to realize about a mile later, the standing stone there is in front of us. And you keep going, and you keep going, and sure enough, the standing stone is once again right in front of you, or at least a perfect copy of it. And the field of bones and trinkets once again surrounds it, and you are once again cast into a silent aura standing in front of the strange standing stone.
At this point, Arlo is freaking out. He's like, we're trapped. We're dead. We're gonna die here. Those bones are gonna be us so soon.
Oh dear.
Do the surroundings appear different?
Go ahead and give me an investigation check. Intelligence or wisdom, your choice. 16. All right. You try your best to match up surroundings, and you're pretty certain that they are the same surroundings as you saw the previous time you were at a standing stone.
Well, this is concerning. It seems we're finding ourselves back to the same exact place somehow.
Worrying.
Trying to figure out a way around this is gonna start to ritual cast detect magic and spend the 10 minutes waiting until it goes off, and after that try and figure out any magic going around.
All right. Anyone else have an action to take during 10 minutes of ritual casting?
Yeah, I'll talk to Alexi about. Didn't you take something from around here? Maybe some magic is drawing it back to this place.
Perhaps. I prefer my life over this trinket. So Alexi goes and pulls it out of his bag and just tosses back whatever he found.
Okay. You toss back the trinket amongst the bones and equipment lying in the plains here. All right. 10 minutes pass, and you cast Detect Magic. You peer out around you, and you see faint auras on magic. Does anyone in the party have magic items? If so, you would see them. I don't think anyone starts with magic items at base 1. No. But you do see a strong magical aura around the pillar itself. The standing stone glows brightly of transmutational magic.
And that's the only thing?
And that is the only thing that you see with your detect magic. The only aura.
Do you tell us that it's magical?
Yeah. And I relay transmutation and nothing else pinged off. Faint aura.
Well, I do have one spell that might help. If I had a pearl, I could identify this as it is magical. Do we have one among all the treasure and things that we found?
The treasure that you found from the goblins was minted coins of various denominations. They're not gemstones or pearls, unless you purchased one or had one at the start from town.
No, they're quite pricey. 100 gold.
Yeah.
Maybe we can try walking away this time now that the trinket has been put back.
Wait, I have an idea. If we are looking at it and we walk away, then there's no way that it could appear behind us because we can see it the entire time. But we might walk so far away that it's too far, and it's worth trying.
You do think that you traveled approximately a mile before the standing stone was once again in your vision. You wouldn't be able to keep your eye on it for a mile's worth of travel.
Well, we can try now that we've got rid of the item. Might as well. Hopefully that fixed it. Otherwise, this is about to get a whole lot worse. And at that, he'll set off, tugging along Theo again.
Okay.
Oh, wonderful.
You begin setting off. Same direction, northwest, back trying to find the old manor.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
All right,
Oh,
you
Alexi,
begin
you
setting
notice,
off, hopefully leaving the standing stone behind you forever. You begin traveling, and you're going, and perhaps there's a tenseness amongst you while you try to escape this standing stone. You go about a mile, and suddenly you see a standing stone right in front of you, a few feet away.
Arlo is gonna take out his prayer book and just start reciting everything he can, and hope that something can help us. Anything.
Okay.
What was that on top of the thing you saw there, Alexi? The standing
Well,
stone.
the pattern continued, and then there was approximately a square-sized space. Nothing too significant.
So did the
Square
pattern
size
not enter the square, or did it go all the way into the center and stop?
I don't know if that was described to me as specifically as that.
The pattern continued up to the top of the square, where it circled around helically all the way into a center terminating point in the square.
Perhaps.
The only things I can think of is turn around and walk the opposite direction, same direction we came from, or I don't know.
Well, might as well
We
try.
We can
Wait,
try
I
that.
have a question. Has the time of day changed since we started walking?
It has. It's hard to tell in the plains, but the sun does. It takes a while to travel a mile, and you've done this trip a couple of times and spent some time investigating. It does seem like the sun has passed distance overhead.
Before we leave, could I make a marking in the ground, maybe where the shadow is cast by the stone,
Uh-huh.
just to be certain? If we're here again, we know it's exactly the same place, and if we know the time has changed, then the shadow would have moved.
Absolutely. You make a marking where the shadow of the standing stone is cast in the ground. You like dig it into the ground. I don't know, place a bone, but you make a noticeable, recognizable mark to indicate the shadow.
To the southeast, then? Try to break out of here by just backtracking?
Yeah.
Worth a shot.
All right. You take off in the opposite direction of your previous attempts and travel away from the standing stone. A tense, quiet miles worth of travel happens. All of you probably hoping quite anxiously to, excuse me, to not see the standing stone again. But sure enough, after about a mile's worth of travel, here you are once again, the standing stone, straight ahead of you in your path, looming again on the horizon.
Is there a marking there? Has the shadow moved?
You go up to investigate. Over a mile's worth of travel, the shadow doesn't move very much, but for brevity's sake, yes, you will notice that the shadow has indeed moved. Your marking is still there, but time has elapsed.
If nobody stops Arlo as he attempts to do so, he's gonna take out his mace, approach the rock, and try to just whack at some of the symbols.
I'm gonna put my hands on your shoulder and start holding you back. That's probably not a good idea.
I don't see any other options right now. Do you have a better idea? I don't want to die, but
I have an idea.
Okay. Oh.
Pattern on the rock. It starts at the top, you might say, and spreads outwards, spinning down, getting wider as it goes, yes? What if we were to try to do so, away from the stone?
So you want us to walk spiraling away from stone?
Sure.
Somebody please. You know what? Let's smash it with the hammer. That's significantly less stupid now.
I love that you hear the idea of walking in a spiral. You're like, you know what? Hammer it is.
All right. Hear me out. We're not getting away from the stone anytime soon, because 2 out of 3 of us are too stupid to figure it out, and the 2 who are not are myself and the mage who don't know what we're doing, and also have casted spells on the stones. That's probably bad. Why don't we wait till nighttime, see whatever it is trying to keep us here, and worst case scenario, we just die amongst all our gold.
I mean, that's a pretty bad scenario.
Okay, what's better, walking in a circle?
Yeah, I think so.
I think y'all should stand back as far as y'all want, and I'm going.
So like a mile away there.
You walk a mile away, but then you have circled back around, and you're right back at the stone again. All right. It sounds like Arlo's gonna smash this stone. All right, Arlo, you approach this alien standing stone, and you raise your mighty mace. Warhammer? Warhammer. Mace. And you take a hefty swing. Go ahead and give me an attack roll, I think. No, I want it to be a skill check. You're trying to smash this, to break free of the magic. And I want to know how effective you are at doing so. Give me a strength check, and I will accept either athletics or acrobatics to empower your mace if you are proficient with either. Ooh, an 11. So what happens here is that you are successful in breaking the stone. But unfortunately, in the process of it, you set free the terrible magics that lied dormant and hidden inside. Your hammer hits it. Poosh, poosh, poosh. Cracks begin to form, and as they do, suddenly the cracks spread of their own accord. Like sickly energy begins leaking and breaking out from it, as the stone unleashes cascades around, and a phantasm of unknown origin from beyond the stars sits there. Its body is not fully formed. Its magic has been broken. It has not finished whatever feeding or strange thing to rebuild itself that it was doing. But here it lies, and it reaches out to you. Go ahead and roll up some initiative for me, and we will fight this ghostly thing. Or, I mean, you could not fight it and let it eat you. That was also fair. All right. We will use this initiative. All right. So we have a 17 for Sherazad. We have a 12 for Arthur. We have a 15 for Alexi. And we have a 12 for Arlo. Thank you. I couldn't find it. Oop. And then we will add... I guess I have to add a ghost. Ghost. The ghost has a 13, and we will descending order it. So Sherazad, you are the first to react as this creature breaks out of the standing stone and begins reaching for Arlo. What do you do?
Ghost? Ghost. I'm gonna cast Chill Touch on it and hopefully get Arlo out of a really bad situation.
All right, this ethereal, ghostly thing gets attacked. No, your spectral touch reaches out and grasps at it, and this like ghostly energy just like absorbs your spectral hand. It seems to just like have no effect. It's magical energy, unable to touch the ghost.
Wonderful.
Excellent. What? Anything else you do with your turn?
I'm leaving.
Backing up as much as you can. Alexi, you are the next to react. What do you do?
Alexi will chant a few words, wave his hand, and toss a bolt of fire at it.
Okay, you toss a bolt of fire. I'm assuming that's a 9, not a 19?
Yeah, it's a 9.
Your bolt of fire strikes at the ghost, but seems to leave almost no effect. The energy just lets the fire glance off of it as it continues its reach.
And he will also move away a little bit, 30 feet.
All right. This thing gets to move. It's still reaching for you, Arlo, as you've freed it. And its hand almost seems to, like, solidify more than the rest of it as it reaches out in an attempt to grab you. Is this attack modifier correct? Yes, that'll work. And it attacks with a 23 with its like grasping hand. I assume that's going to beat your AC.
Yeah.
All right. You take 19 points of necrotic damage as you feel your very life force being drugged from your body into this creature.
Arlo tries to let out a shout to run, let his companions get out, but falls unconscious.
You fall unconscious. You see everyone else, your companion, fall unconscious. The, like, half-formed, like, alien body seems to get more stable, having gathered Arlo's life force inside of it. It seems to be becoming more and more of its own. Arthur, what do you do in response to this?
Just real quick. Are we missing somebody from initiative? Like Hephaestus?
It's because I'm on the other page, my token,
Oh.
so we don't see it.
Oh, I have Alexi in initiative, right? Didn't he go?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Arthur that's missing.
Oh, Arthur's going now, yes?
Yeah, we can't see it in the turn order because the token is on a different page from us.
Oh, alright.
Oh, well, let's throw you back over here then. That should
yes.
work, yeah? Okay.
Indeed.
Okay.
How far away am I from Alexi?
How far away would you like to be? We didn't really establish
you
that
tell us
canon.
to like Becca all the way away, right? How far away would you two have went to?
Well, I'm probably 30 feet away from you. Approximately, maybe you guys are like 20 or 30 feet away from the center.
I'd be happily like 40 feet away at best.
Oh yeah, so I guess I would be pretty close. And I would have taken my cue from the other two, so I would have been, you know, in the running distance, it would seem.
Okay. Yep,
So
running distance.
I'll run up to him and plant my hand on his chest, and a little burst of gold energy comes out, just enough to wake him up as I spend a point of lay on hands on him.
All right, you spend a point of lay on hands. Arlo, you feel your breath return to you as you are once again conscious. Excellent. And you are conscious just in time to take your turn. What would you do?
Can I run away without taking an opportunity attack?
You can
Or, no,
definitely
it's just-
disengage as your action, and then move your movement away, and it would not cause an opportunity attack.
I'm going to shout, "What are you doing? Get out of here!" And try to just blast it, giving them an opportunity to run. I'm going to send out a guiding bolt at this thing.
Oh, all right. You gather your magical energies into a guiding bolt and fire. Go ahead and give me a roll to hit. That will do it for sure. Absolutely. What is... It's radiant damage, that's right. It does 15
nice.
points of radiant damage, and your guiding bolt is supremely effective. It feels like your damage is much, much higher than you expected. And this creature recoils physically from the magical energy, seemingly from fear as much as pain. A horrible hiss emanates from it, almost alien and unusual to your ears. It feels uncomfortable. Excellent. That is Arlo's turn, and we are back to Sherazad. What will you do?
Well, Arlo's okay. I have two people up there. I'm gonna start moving a bit closer. So I'll probably be about like 1 feet away. And I'm gonna try this chill touch again. Hopefully this will work.
All right, you move a little closer, extend your withered chill touch out, and you will strike it. Your chill touch connects. Please roll 7 damage. Your necrotic energy does not feel as effective as you would like it, but it is damaging to the creature.
So if this is an undead creature, he gets disadvantage to his next attack.
Oh, excellent. Do we
And
consider a
again,
creature
hit points
beyond
equal
the
to
stars without corporeal form to be undead? I think that's more of an aberration. Although it is ethereal. I'll give it disadvantage. I think you need it. Awesome. Alexi, it is your turn.
All right. Alexi will spin up another orb of fire and toss it at the ghost.
All right, you spin up another orb of fire and toss it. Please roll to hit. An 12. A 12, however, will not hit. Your firebolt once again strikes the creature and just glances off. Its magical energies resisting your own. All right. That are any movement, any other actions for you?
Oh, I'll stay at this comfortable distance.
All right. Excellent. The ghost now turns to the paladin right next to its previous target. It reaches out a more corporeal than normal hand, attempting to strike at you with disadvantage. An 8. Does that strike your AC?
Everything's fine. I even nimbly dodge out of the way.
Excellent. You nimbly dodge away from its hand. It grasps empty air. Another hiss strikes out across the area, sounding horrific to your ears and alien to your senses. But, Arthur, it is your turn. What do you do?
Well, Arthur doesn't know if ghosts get hit by warhammers, but God, is he gonna try?
All right, and a 15 will hit. Go ahead and roll damage with a 6 bludgeoning damage. Your warhammer strikes its semi-corporeal form. There's just enough there that your hammer finds purchase, and you know you wound it as it recoils again. This unfinished creature from beyond the stars. And
Don't worry, Arlo, we have this. We'll save you. Stay behind me now.
Thank you, friends.
It locks eyes with you, clearly in pain, and if possible, anger, although you're not sure if this thing can know anger. Arlo, you are being saved. Despite your yells for them to run, your party is too brave. How do you respond?
I look at the creature again, just clutch my holy symbol and say, Fiend, you dare stand against us after I blasted you last time. I shall blast you again with the same ferocity. And I let out another guy.
Excellent. A 24 hits. Excellent.
Oh
the creature from beyond the stars is struck once more by your holy magics and takes another huge amount of damage. The creature seems to be losing its form in front of you. As your holy energies strike it, pieces of it begin floating apart. It seems that the form it was taking, while imperfect, is now slowly being taken from it. Although it holds itself together, you feel feel like you're doing damage. You feel like you are winning. Anything else for your turn?
Also, I think that's the last one. But the next roll will have advantage against it.
That is right. That is right. That is how Guiding Bolt works. I had forgotten. It's been so long since someone hit a Guiding Bolt. All right. Sherazad, this creature is being torn apart by holy magics in front of you. What do you do?
Well, I don't have holy magic. So have some unholy Liswings.
Ooh, you blast it with your Eldritch Blast, striking it with your magical energies. 3 points of damage. You are helping. You blow away a piece of its ethereal form that had separated from it. It doesn't shriek. It hisses unnaturally, echoing into your soul. You know you've wounded it. All right. Alexi, it once again is your turn. You've locked eyes with this horrifying creature. What do you do?
Toss another firebolt at it. Seems like we're winning, guys. Keep it up.
A 12 does not hit. The firebolt once again strikes the creature, but is just unable to overcome its own magical nature.
It's all right. Alexi is not discouraged. He knows that the odds are in his favor.
The odds are ever in my favor. Excellent. The creature... Oh, it wasn't locking eyes with you, Alexi. It was locked eyes with Arthur, the paladin in front of it. I forgot. It reaches out again and stops. And instead, it reveals its horrifying visage to all of you in front of it. And it is truly a terror, alien to your brains. And I need all of you to make a DC 15 wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy. No.
Well, this is gonna be fun. So I'm just gonna try and save my skin here. Would being an Eldritch Warlock give me any advantage on this?
Perhaps. Yeah. Why not? I'll give you advantage on weathering the eldritch horrors from beyond the stars. That does seem to be like something an Eldritch Warlock is good at.
Oh, thank God! I was not looking forward to this. At least one.
At least one. All right, well, those wisdom saves are something. Arthur, you were the only one affected by this creature's horrifying visage. And you, sir, are frightened to your core. You are so frightened, in fact, that you have taken the paralyzation status effect. If you are unfamiliar with that, it's a problem.
Yeah, I'm familiar. It's a lot of a problem.
Alrighty. You are so terrified that you are paralyzed until you can save against a DC 15 wisdom at the end of your turn.
Well, looks like that's coming up right now as I end my turn doing nothing. And, break free. Thank you.
All right. You break free from the horrifying visage of this creature and are no longer paralyzed. Arlo, it is your turn.
I'm amazed that this thing is still standing and maybe feeling a bit scared at the fact that it's still. Will unfortunately let out a weaker, although still radiant attack with Sacred Flame.
All right. Sacred Flame requires a save. This thing has equivalent save. Yes. This is actually an unmodified save, so we're going to subtract 1 from this result. A 9. It does not save. It takes your Radiant Flame. Recoiling. Greg does quick math. It's still alive.
Still alive.
It recoils and is now definitely shimmering in and out of existence, the pieces of it tearing off more and more, the form that it once had quite low, but still enough in shape that it can continue moving. Sherazad, is your turn.
Well, let's see how effective I can be. Let's give it one more blast.
Blast him.
Blast it.
A 24 for 10 points of damage.
Thing.
Ooh. The rest of the creature disappears. And as it was silent before, the sound of the plains comes bleeding back in.
Alright, Arthur's recently been having heart palpitations. He was struck, paralyzed by fear for a little while by, and he's like, "Okay, all right, it's dead. Everybody, let's leave. I think we should go back to town."
We're going back. We have to.
No, I'm going to the stone now. Now I have to investigate.
Actually,
Okay.
I will too.
I'll just rest here, guys. I'll stay with Theo. Don't worry about it.
You wish
wanna
to go
hug?
to the broken standing stone now?
Yes.
The broken pieces of the stone were split and cracked and near destroyed. They are just rubble beneath your feet at this point. No piece exists larger than the fist of your hand, as the magics within tore it apart as they ripped their way through it. You can attempt to try to find a piece that has the geometric pattern in some way upon it, but that is all that remains.
I'm gonna pull open my book and see if if the geometric patterns I've traced out are gone.
Didn't you take a rubbing of it and you were going to trace them later? So you have like the dirt
Yeah.
on it. That's a good question. How lucky are you feeling? Roll me an unmodified d20.
I'm feeling a 14.
You're maybe lucky, maybe unlucky, but your rubbings of the dirt on the geometric pattern remain.
I'm going to. All right, we're gonna stop operation real quick. I'm gonna trace this stuff out right now. It's one thing if I can come back to it. It's another thing if I'll never see this again.
Okay. You sit down amongst the bones, the sound of life returning, and sketch out as much as you can of this pattern that you made a rubbing of into your book.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to look around to see if there's anything other than stone within this mess.
So I should have asked this earlier, but I do speak abyssal, or read at least abyssal and celestial. Do I recognize any of these things?
This is most definitely not a language spoken.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as they're still messing around here, Arthur's gonna recover from his near-death experience and start to do some of the holy rites of Pelor for these deceased individuals. Just
Okay.
as long as we're hanging out.
Okay. You begin the holy rites of Pelor, praise the sun, and begin. What are the rites of Pelor? Do you burn the remains? Do
No,
you bury them?
there's way too many things here to burn or bury, so I just try to bless them with the Pelor carrying them off into the afterlife, and they'll find the light as they head on into whatever they are to experience next.
Awesome. Very good. Is there any... Oh, you wanted to look amongst the rubble of the stone to see if there is any valuables hidden away inside. The answer is whatever valuables may have been inside were destroyed by the creature's exit of it. The only thing that remains of the standing stone is just rubble, pieces of stone. They almost are like hot to the touch, and they're no bigger than the fist of your human fist.
Okay, as I notice, the paladin blessing all of the remains, I'll get up and just kind of remember that I'm a cleric and then just help him out. Also, pray to my goddess that hopefully she can work with his god and deliver these poor fallen men, animals, everything to a better destination than this.
Mm-hmm. All right. So,
As Alexi goes, he'll try to find the biggest stone that still exists and pack it away for further study.
okay, yeah, you pack away a stone and gonna study it later, I suppose. So the four of you are done praying and sketching and sending the last rites of the deceased up to the heavens. What is the plan now that you have defeated this strange creature in the Standing Stone?
I think probably
Do we want to head back?
short
We
rest and then get the hell out of here. Just go back to town, maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
I
back to
think
town sounds good.
we probably only made it like 5 hexes today, so like we can just emergency find some shelter around here to make sure we're not attacked by wolves, hopefully, and then speed our way back tomorrow, taking a fast pace.
So you want to rest for the rest of the day. You want to set up camp and then leave on the next day.
Oh well, I guess if we still have a little bit of travel.
You found the Standing Stone in the middle of the, like in the early afternoon, basically in the middle of the day, and you spent. You only traveled back and forth 3 times, so you only spent 3 miles worth of travel, and you did some investigating and a fight. So you still have at least a quarter of a day, if not probably more than a quarter of a day's worth of travel.
Sure, we can spend that to make at least some progress back to town to make sure we get back tomorrow.
Okay.
And then just along the way, like if we look at if we happen upon some place that looks great for shelter and we only have like 30 minutes or an hour of travel left, we'll probably just call it, because it's much more important to be in shelter.
Sounds good. Are you going at a slow pace back to town, or are you hoofing it from the beginning?
Might as well start off, end this day slow.
Okay. So
fast
slow pace it is, and you begin traveling back the way you came, southwest, trying to get out of the Howling Fields. The rest of your day's travel through the Howling Fields is uneventful, and you spend some time searching for the best shelter. You don't see any more houses or standing stones or anything other than just the regular grasses and plains and rocks and occasional tree here or there. I will have the person who's the best survival in the group go ahead and make a roll at advantage, wisdom survival, to find the best possible place to camp during your time traveling for the night, since that's what you're specifically looking out for.
It was with advantage or not?
With advantage, yeah. You're going to have advantage from the whole group helping you look for it. All right, a 20. You find what you were probably looking for last night, a big dip in the ground where the elevation has given you a nice little backdrop. There's high grasses around you kind of protectively, a lot of big rocks that you could kind of tuck behind. This isn't as good as, say, resting in an old manor or something, but it will do for the night. So, we have come to the end of the day. I would like foraging rolls at DC 15 for each of you, as you have spent the whole day of travel in the Howling Fields. 19 and 18 are both passes. So water is restored. Shahrazad, you were unable to find food amongst the plains to supplement your rations, so I'll need 2 pounds of rations eaten from you. Did we miss somebody there?
No, I also failed.
Arthur. Oh, I see Arthur. Yeah, perfect. Arthur, you also were unable to find rations during the day, so we'll need 2 pounds from you. You set up camp for the night. What is it like while you guys are setting up camp? You've met this ghost and these creatures out in the plains, from this strange standing stone. Like, what is camp like as you're setting it up and you're getting ready to rest for the night?
If it's already dark out, I'm gonna start looking at the stars, see if I can find the patterns on the stones and the stars.
You begin looking at the stones in the starlight, and sure enough, you do indeed see the faint beginnings of that pattern as the stars themselves seem to illuminate whatever was left there.
I'm gonna flip some pages, like go some of my books until I find like a star map I've been working on, and I'm gonna start sketching out where I start seeing the patterns. And I'll probably end the night. I'm going to sketch out the monster weed scene, but before I finish the drawing of it, or before I start the drawing, I'm gonna sketch the patterns around the page,
Okay.
just in case.
Well,
Alright.
I think I'm pretty quiet during setting up camp. No complaints about having a fire tonight from me after our experiences today.
Okay.
But definitely a pinch of quiet until right at the end. I would mention. We did good today, team. That was quite the battle we had to fight, but we all got through it together. Excellent job.
Arlo
Just after that.
is also very silent, very deep in thought after having a very, very near-death experience with everything. Hitting the stone, he was already resigning to dying, if that meant his party could go free. So seeing that he's still standing here with them is a welcome sight. And
welcome sight. Nice.
Alexi will attempt to catalog the encounter with the red jackals from earlier. How many people there were, what they looked like, making sure to bring back a solid tale when they return to town.
Awesome. All right. You spend a pensive night, and during the watch that Arlo spends, I rolled randomly for you, you hear the sounds of howls and wolves in the distance, and you keep probably a tense ear on them, hoping that they don't find you, and they continue their howl across the fields. You see movement far away, hundreds of feet, but they never seem to get closer than that through the edge of your watch. And then the rest of the night passes uneventfully. You are now all welcome to have completed a full night's of rest. You regain your class features as per a long rest. You may spend up to any amount of hit dice to try to regain HP. And after having done so, will regain up to 1/2 of your total hit dice rounded up to be expended in the future.
quite a nice roll, taking me back to max health yet again.
Nice. Very good.
Oh, good. I totally forgot to lay on hands you.
You had to lay on hands me to get me out of dying, so Arlo is thankful enough for that.
All right. It is the beginning of the day once again after that is resolved. Navigator, we are heading back to Farfield Keep. That is the goal, correct? And
Yes.
we are moving at double speed.
Yes. Or
All right.
I think maybe slow the first day and then fast the second.
I believe if we go fast, we will get back there in one day. I think we can make good enough time.
I did draw the map on the way here. We kind of know what to expect.
Sure.
Pick up the pace.
Yeah.
I will say though, we should deliberately avoid the area where we might have stolen the goblin's gold.
Oh, yes, I suppose.
All right. It is a fast pace, is what it sounds like to me.
Yep.
All right. It is a fast pace. Navigator, please roll me a navigation roll at disadvantage for your increased pace. A 17,
Nice.
that is perfect. You can travel and navigate your way back very well. And the day has begun. I would like 4 d6s from you for possible encounters as you make your way through. Okay. You begin moving as fast as you can, marching quickly over hexes, trying to get your donkey to go as fast as it can as well. As you're doing so, you are not molested. The day passes uneventfully, although you are probably quite tired. About the time you reach the midday mark, you find yourself back again at the kind of edge of the Howling Fields, and you can see the pasture land and the knowledge of eventual civilization in front of you. You continue traveling, marching as fast as you can, leaving the horrors of the wilds behind you, and soon enough find yourself back in the relatively safe confines of Farfield Keep. Excellent. A successful-ish adventure, as you definitely did not die, and you returned with secrets and loot. That is awesome. So let me get some XP loaded up for all of you. While I do that, is there anything any of you want to do or talk about in town while you're here?
Well, definitely on the agenda is I split up the loot from the mule, so I believe we all get 100 gold each.
Yes.
Unless we can use it as gold, right?
Yeah, so the items themselves have a GP value to your characters of 400 gold, unless you can find a way to increase that value for some reason. Perhaps bartering very effectively or exchanging it with some known... Like if you find a gemstone with a marking on it and exchange it for something out in the mists, it may be able to give you more value. But when I tell you you find trinkets worth 400 GP, that's what the exchange is back in town, just at a neutral level.
Cool. First paycheck, I would definitely go to the bar. That's what you do, right?
Absolutely. With us very excited to take your money. Oh, you returned from the manor, did you?
Oh, well, not quite, but we did get up to quite some excitement, and yeah, I'll just be generally explaining my adventures to her and all of the wonderful people we found out there, and also some of the horrifying discoveries.
All right.
Generally making a tale out of it.
Excellent. All right. It sounds like a semi-successful adventure. So, that will be 475 XP taken home for each of your characters. 375 XP for the hit dice and creatures slain, and 100 XP for the semi-quest completion of dealing with that shattered stone or standing stone. Now it's shattered. And you will each take home 100 GP worth of goods. And that will be the end to session 2. Thank you all for playing with me. I had a really good time.
Yeah.
That
Thank you
was
very much.
amazing.
Thank you.
We got some really good rolls in there. Thank
Yeah.
goodness for Guiding Bolt.
I am so happy I survived that because there was no reason I should have.
That was
Yeah.
a very tough encounter. That was the worst possible scenario encounter for that thing that I created.
Awesome.
Yeah, breaking the stone open without doing something else first, and then failing to destroy the core of the creature. Definitely was the hardest fight you could have had. I think this session. There's a possibility you do really well at the manor, but that is definitely the hardest fight I think that you were going to run into this session. So you survived. Congrats.
Great.
Awesome. So that is the end for today. These guys will lick their wounds back at the tavern. Maybe they'll be looking for some more adventurers to help fill their ranks again in the future. Tomorrow, we have another session. We have 4 different adventurers who have all decided that they would like to go and explore the ruined monastery, I believe, also out in the Howling Fields. That'll be happening at 10 a.m. my time, so like essentially 11 hours from now, 10 and a half hours from now, I will be seeing you all hopefully for some more Land Beyond the Mists. And if not, have a great rest of your day, night, week, whatever it is, till I do catch you again. We will see you all next time. Peace, everybody.